everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Ian Hink,
Hi.
Ben Moore,
Kapow!
and Brandon Jones.
I'm back.
He's back, baby. Wait, where were you last week?
I was at Judges Week.
Judges Week, what is that?
Judges Week is a pre-E3 event for people designated from specific video game outlets to be E3 judges, and it is the beginning of the process of actually playing stuff from E3. Some developers and publishers decide to get it a month in advance, get out to LA, and hang out at some beach hotels and show off some fun games.
Jones, throughout this podcast, if we hit on anything that you actually know about, please raise one finger and say, I know this, I can't talk about this, but I know this.
I will unfortunately bald-faced lie to all three of you.
I know you will.
That's where it is.
Huh, I wonder what
Like,
that would be like.
yeah, fascinating.
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah, Jones
What
lying.
if that happens? I will not comment on it, though. I will not voluntarily offer a bullshit statement.
Sure.
But you do know the
You can maybe at
release
home be like,
dates
Jones didn't really talk about that.
of every game.
Now I feel like I'm going to be trying to read your face the whole podcast.
Well, you gotta look that way, so.
I'm not going to look at you this entire time.
I'm not even looking at him. Ian, what's your goal this week?
I want to not look at Jones the entire podcast.
That's a good goal. Ben, what's your goal this week?
To, at some point, do a very short dance in response to something.
Jones, your goal this week?
To compliment you on your moderation skills.
I'm going to make that a little harder for you because my goal this week is to respond with musical lyrics 3 times.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
And do you want, as a sub goal, do you want us to not notice?
No.
Or are they going to be obvious?
Jones is stealthy about his. I'm not
Yeah.
stealthy about that. What fun is it for the audience if you're just sneaking them in all the time? Let's start corrections, please. Corrections music begin. Remastering a game through backwards engineering is not uncommon. I guess that's pretty regular. Panzer Dragoon Orta is still cheap as a used game, my bad. The Phantom Dust reboot was announced at E3 2014. Super Mario Run does not have microtransactions, but it just has a bunch of weird currencies that made me believe that it did. You know, they have like
Really?
the tickets and things. Yeah, you can't spend real money on any of those things.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I assumed a lot about the Sonic character creator. I overassumed. There are only 7 animals to choose from. These include bear, bird, cat, dog, hedgehog, rabbit, and wolf. No echidna, no fox, no robots.
Wait, you can't make a fox? Tails was a fox.
You can't make with tails.
Maybe DLC.
Maybe
Who said
DLC. Who said that? That was their announcement, because each of those animals actually has attributes. If you pick this one, you have a character trait based off of the animal you chose.
Like Armello.
Oh yeah, Armello.
I like that game and no one ever played it with me.
Yeah, brutal. Dang, that's just one that came and went, didn't it?
Yeah,
Poor Armello. The Wii version of Okami is the one without the paper filter. Not only does the PS3 version have it, but it's also the only version that lets you select the intensity of the effect. End corrections music, please.
You guys had a weird episode last week.
Definitely a weird episode. As
Not
it's
looking at Jones's
pre-E3.
heart already, sorry.
I mean, you don't have to accomplish your goal. We just set goals. He's making faces. So, I'm extremely excited. We're at pre-E3. I can feel the heat.
Yeah.
We're on. We put 5 minutes on the microwave, and we're done at 0 seconds. We're just in the first seconds, right? Your bag of popcorn is right. It's just beginning to crinkle out. It hasn't even started to puff up yet, but this little crinkle of pre-E3 popcorn bagness just is so exciting.
The heat feels good.
The heat feels good.
Yeah.
Good analogy, Kyle.
Yeah, that was very seamless.
If you've never heard the podcast before, I'm known for my analogies.
It's true.
I like to begin my favorite way to start a podcast is with one of my trademark analogies. And so, as part of our pre-E3 deluge of news, we have, a leak. Not a game announcement, but a leak to begin this week. And it was previously featured in news I don't want to talk about, but it's here. It's official. It's real. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was leaked this week in a highly unusual way. This is incredible. This kind of leak, I actually am very excited about because it's an aspect of the biz that we don't get an insight into very frequently. What leaked is basically a PowerPoint presentation that I assume is for marketing. There's language used in this PowerPoint presentation that we'll never see publicly, such as referring to Princess Peach as a badass princess. Nintendo
Yeah.
will never call her that.
They
It's
would never say that.
It's very easy to assume this leak came from Ubisoft. We can all assume that. Ubisoft
If
was...
they're swearing, yeah.
Yeah, but not just that. Nintendo never has a leak like this, and Ubisoft leaks constantly. Ubisoft has leak problems, Nintendo almost never does. So, yeah, this is so strange. Oh, and also the developer is Ubisoft Paris and Milan, as per this presentation. So, there's much of information here, but I kind of want to start... I guess, on the reaction, because I think that's what the headline is. I think the headline is the way that Twitter blows up when we see this game where Mario and Rabbids are in the same universe. You see 4 Mario characters, the same 4 we discussed previously when that other leak happened, and 4 Rabbids versions of them. To the panel, how do you react to this game? How do you react to the imagery? How do you react to the concept of this game existing? It's here, it's coming.
The way that I feel about this game is the words that the setup that they have for this game, and then the follow through. It's just, I feel completely hollow and very disappointed. And here's why.
Okay.
This isn't just
completely hollow.
This
yeah.
isn't just Rabbids and then
Yeah.
wagging my finger.
Yeah.
This is the language that they're using that I'm disappointed in. This is what they said their ambition was, and then how they chose to reach that ambition. Because in the slides that leaked in this marketing material, they talk about how they sort of label Mario as sort of this conservative franchise, and this is
Yes.
going to be our chance to let loose. Okay, and you think about that, and you're like, oh, think about the ways that we've historically seen Mario. We're going to have this other developer work on it. They're going to let loose. This is how they let loose. They're dressed the same. The Rabbids dress in the same outfits. They give them guns. That doesn't sound like, if you're saying we're not going to be conservative and that's your idea of taking that extra step, that I find that incredibly boring. And another thing, right? So they talk about the problem of Princess Peach being a damsel in distress.
Right.
Whether or not you agree with that, whatever, that is a common criticism that has been labeled at Princess Peach.
Right.
Okay? Instead of taking this character and twisting it, or even offering like a different version of Princess Peach, they go, we're going to call her a badass and give her a gun. What that has there ever been a character that a marketing material has called badass and you're like, oh yeah, they're really tough.
Yeah.
Like give me a different look, give me a different style, give me a different character, make her a human being. That's what I want to see. That's interesting. Not just Princess Peach with a gun. That sucks. Everything about this sucks.
Well, here's where here's what another thing that sucks about this, Ben, is that clearly this was not the way Nintendo wanted this game revealed.
Sure.
Or Ubisoft.
You
And
mean
so
they didn't want a slide that says July win over streamers or whatever?
let's talk about that.
Win
Yeah.
over media
Yeah.
slash gamers.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
win over or convince
Yeah.
media slash gamers,
That's exact language actually.
which is like that to me speaks the most about the volumes on this product. Is
Yeah.
like, if it's in your slides, in your PowerPoint presentation to your marketing team that you have to convince the gamers and the media that your game isn't trash, and you know that months in advance, what are you doing?
So that's so I want to talk about that. It was a timeline. It was a one of the slides had a timeline on it that showed it began with June, surprise at announcement. Presuming that we would all be surprised when they announced this game in June. Sorry about that. It doesn't always go that way. July, as Ian said, convinced media / gamers. And then in August, go big for launch.
What does that mean?
That means the more details on that timeline were Gamescom and reviews, which is kind of interesting to think of them on the marketing side. They consider reviews as marketing. It just feels like we're all playing their game sometimes.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Reviews are literally just ads.
Yeah.
I do think I have a little bit of sympathy because as a marketing team, you have to be explicit about that, about
Yeah.
what your goals are, how you're going to try to message this game. And so what you might see in a reveal trailer will be potentially very different from this. And so I am sympathetic to that. But the reason I think a lot of my criticism still stands is even if you were to take away all of that language and you were just looking at the visuals, I'm not sure that this is a game that says visually, this is exciting, this is full of unique ideas, that this needs to exist, right? And again, like they talk about this being an RPG. We think about the great Mario RPG games, how much we fell in love with those characters. I feel like you could look at any character in Paper Mario, or maybe not any, but most. And I haven't played Thousand Year Door, but if you were to show me a character from Thousand Year Door, I would be like, oh, that's from Thousand Year Door, because
You
that's
absolutely would know.
that's how distinct that is.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting that at all. This is, again, just these characters with dumb laser guns.
Yeah.
Well, and also like I've always loved the Rayman games. Like I love Rayman 1 and the UB art versions are amazing. And like Rabbids spun off for some reason from Rayman and like
Rayman Raving Rabbids.
right, and it's just like even then it felt like this bizarre like Minions-esque bastard like pollution of the Rayman
Rabbids
series.
before Minions.
Huh?
Rabbids before Minions.
Yeah, but it's similar aesthetic where they're like annoying and dumb and everyone loves them for some reason.
Yeah, but Rabbids came first.
Yeah. I'm just likening the timeline is inconsequential here.
You weren't. Am I the only one who's charmed by Rabbids?
Yes.
Ben?
I think, thinking back to that original Rabbids game, that's like the only one that I've played.
Yeah.
There
I
were
did
some-
not hate Raving Rabbids. Yeah.
Isn't that the one where they're like inside your Wii remote and you shake the Wii remote and you can see the rabbit bouncing around?
It's weird. Rayman Raving Rabbids. I think it's before that because in this one you were like you're in jail. You're in a coliseum, and you have to stack up bodies to get out. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not bodies. You
Yeah,
have to-
it was weird.
Every day you get a thing and you throw it next to your window, and so you go and do these coliseum games for the Rabbids.
It was mini games, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was the one with them in the Wii remote though.
I don't remember it very
So
well.
Here's the thing. I'm charmed by Rabbids.
I think there were some clever ideas.
I love these Rabbids.
Do you like Minions too?
I love Minions. Huh. I love them.
I watched
Don't like
Despicable
Minions.
Me with my dad, so I really
Yeah.
like it. But
You watched Despicable Me and came away not liking Minions?
I will say I do like Minion Mayhem, the ride at Universal Studios.
Oh,
Whoa. And a face of disgust from Jones that Ian cannot see.
To be clear, that's because I've ridden it with my dad.
touche.
And Minions
So
are
like
great.
the riding,
that.
the doing stuff with your dad
Right.
thing is like seeing a movie with Don, where it's just like you're gonna have a good time.
Right.
It's great. I like the movie Oblivion because I watched it with my dad.
Yeah.
Movie's garbage.
Wait, what is that? I see
That's
a,
the Tom
a spaceship
Cruise
that's
one,
like all
yeah.
orbs.
with
Okay.
that
Yeah.
beautiful woman in it. That's
That
her name,
beautiful
Olga.
woman, Angelina Jolie.
Oh God, you're thinking Entrapment? No, that's Catherine Zeta-Jones.
It is.
Ah,
With the lasers. Jones.
Yes.
I bet you're a 6, but you'd look great in a 4. Oh my God, so creepy.
Is that a line?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
He gives her a dress, and I'm
And
just
he's
like,
like,
that's not how spatial relationships work.
Please wear a tiny dress.
Yeah, I want
stretch
to-
it.
With an open.
That's very Sean
palm.
Connery, though.
Oh yeah, he's
He would say
he's
that.
a very sexist.
Sean
man.
Connery was playing himself in that scene.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about how we feel about Rabbids. We talked about the things that have leaked for this game. How do we turn it around? How do you actually surprise people when it's launched at E3? How do you make this game into a good story?
Pretend the Rabbids leaked it.
Make it intentional.
Jones,
Yes.
sometimes you're very good at this, dude.
Pretend it-
Sometimes you're very good at
That
this.
is
Have it be
very
the whole
good.
thing. Literally have
Yeah.
the video roll up, and it's Michel Ancel. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
Whenever I pronounce French people's names, I always get so
Rayman
damn
guy.
nervous.
Yeah.
Rayman
You have
guy.
him because he loves to do skits. That was always the thing where like they would pretend, "Hi, I'm here to announce the thing," and the rabbits are popping up in the background. Remember, there's like one video where one just came out and started beating the crap out of him. He loves playing around with that stuff. And so they're going to the presentation. And you got the big Nintendo sign on the door, and he's like, "I'm really nervous. I just don't think this is a huge thing we're gonna do with Mario. Like RPGs, it's got a big lineage. Or what do we do? Just trust me, it's gonna be fine. Okay, you got that presentation right? I thought you had it. Wait, where is it? You see the corner there? They run off with it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, Jones.
And they're writing the badass princess. The other rabbit's like, "Oh yeah,
And they're like,
that's really
no,
good."
please, no, Rabbids, no.
But own it. That's gonna be that's the worst. Is if Nintendo comes out, it's like, what leak? You're like, oh god, or Ubisoft too.
Yeah.
And of course, the worst thing ever is you gotta diversify how you announce this, because I'm assuming it's gonna be in the Nintendo Direct and at the Ubisoft press conference.
Yes.
And those not only have to be different, they need to complement each other. Like they need to. Because we're getting Ubisoft first, right? So Ubisoft needs to maybe give us like a CG thing, and then we'll stay for the gameplay reveal in the Nintendo press conference, and so we have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But if it's both the same thing, a humongous fail.
I think adding on to that, I love that idea. Adding on to that, something I was thinking about when this happened was because sometimes Ubisoft, you like I've seen rumors that like they've intentionally leaked some of the stuff. Like I don't know if I buy it, but whatever.
I
But,
never
like,
buy those.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's like like Kojima level trolls, you have to start thinking like stuff like that is within the realm of possibility. And I was thinking about this and like how weird but also mundane this presentation is. And I was wondering like, what if this game isn't real? Like this version of this game is a huge fake out. Mm-hmm. And so like you have them, the Rabbids steal the presentation and make a fake game. And then Rayman guy is like, here's the actual, that's the weird, like, it's all like, this is all part of some kind of weird long con that like, we
It's
don't
actually
even know
Beyond
the
Good and Evil
payoff.
too.
Yeah. It's like some crazy other thing that has nothing to do with this.
I think if we're sitting at that desk
Yeah.
discussing the presentation and even one of us says, I thought it was pretty funny, I consider that a huge success.
Yeah.
They are much better off than I ever could have dreamed.
It's going to be me saying I think that was pretty funny.
Then I consider that a huge success.
It's gonna be. Okay, I think we're good.
One last question.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll have the liberty to really go hard on Mario? Like, I want them making fun
That's what we get
of Mario.
I'm sorry, I didn't pull the one where it meant to say like self-deprecating humor, but it was like self-mocking. Self-mocking, I think, is the phrase
Right.
they used.
Huh.
Yeah.
But I think just that phrase is not necessarily enough to convince me, because that could just be like, that could be a really lame joke of, well, why doesn't Bowser like attack Mario sooner or something? Like just
Right.
something really soft.
Things that already exist when the RPG,
Right.
Mario RPG games. Yeah. I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope.
Whoa.
What?
I just had two ideas at the same time. What if Mario and those guys are basically not in this game, but the Rabbids have been kind of like watching them from afar or playing Mario games within the world of this, and then the entire game is just them wanting to pretend like they're cool, like Mario and his friends, and it's all just make-believe?
Well, I mean, to counter that, we should say that in other places in this presentation, it kind of describes what the game's going to play like.
That's true.
It is going to be a turn-based strategy
Turn-based
game,
strategy game, yeah.
as promised. So
It
I'm going to
could be
say a
cool.
big no to that.
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. I was just thinking. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Like how to save it, you mean?
Yeah, like weird other things it could be.
I think it's this. I think it is
Yeah,
what it is.
I think it is what it is.
I think I'm totally going to dig this weird game.
I'm not against it. I ain't against it.
Okay.
I ain't for it. Mm-hmm. But I ain't against it.
Okay. You know what I wanted to finish with is that apparently it's going to launch in August or maybe September. That's pretty big. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's a really good turnaround from. Well, I think that's kind of why it leaked so many times as it did, is because we say, oh, you know what, keep your game a secret and then
Right.
just launch it months away. This game has been in development for a long time, and we've known about it for a long time because I think they waited so long to announce it in a weird way.
Capcom can do it.
They did it.
Capcom's done it like 4 times.
What do you mean 4 times?
2.
Street Fighter got leaked. I mean,
Well, yeah, but they did it with Resident Evil 6 and 7.
Oh, 6. You're right. Yeah, I
They
guess
were just like, hey, this comes out in like 4 months.
they just got the lid down tight on that thing. Okay. Yeah, you know what? We don't need to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about a big delay this week.
Let's do.
Let us do. Red Dead Redemption 2. It's delayed out of fall 2017. A release window that was announced last year, the fall of 2016.
Did it say fall or just
Fall.
holiday?
Fall.
Or it said it was coming out in 2017?
Fall of 2017 is
Oh.
when they announced last year.
Okay.
And now it is spring 2018, more specifically after April 1st, 2018. Let me read you some language, some PR about the delay. This outlaw epic, set across the vast and unforgiving American heartland, will be the first Rockstar game created from the ground up for the latest generation of console hardware. And some extra time is necessary to ensure that we can deliver the best
Regretting it?
the best experience possible for our fans. No, I just love giving Rockstar that voice.
Yeah.
The developer, hey,
Hey.
what I was telling you.
Super cool Rockstar here.
Grand Theft Auto 5, one of the greatest selling video games of a long time. Okay, so sorry to should have done the voice. Some extra time is necessary to ensure that we can deliver the best experience possible for our fans. That's it. All right, so it's gonna be delayed.
Was
6
anyone
months.
surprised by this?
I was surprised by this.
Really?
Yeah, they announced a year ago it would be coming out a year later. That's what it was. I think is the distance between announcement and why nobody was forcing them to announce that in the fall of last year. No one else. There wasn't an event or anything. They just said, hey. And the same day it was a Switch reveal. Actually, I remember this. They said, hey, here's a trailer, and we're gonna be out fall of next year. Pre-order now, everybody. And it's like, no, you're right, Ian. We shouldn't have believed it. You've got no chance. A whole Red Dead Redemption game. I'm sorry
Looks
that I
beautiful,
believed. Yeah, we got some new screenshots along with this announcement of a delay.
The one where he's like in that little town in the lights. Or in the
Oh, yeah, the
buildings. I'm just
lanterns
like,
and
oh
the
my
windows
god.
and all the-
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm just
Craziest
like, oh
one to
my
me
god,
is
this game.
The two guns. It's just the
Yeah.
close-ups
the
on those
close-up.
pistols.
Oh, yeah.
They look good.
What's up, Ben?
The response to this delay generally seems to mirror my own personal response, and I thought it was funny, like the position that they're in, because my response to the the Red Dead Redemption 2 delay is, well, okay, it'll sure be amazing when it comes out. And that's the best position you want to be in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they could say, yep, we're delaying it. Like, we could be a month out from when it's supposed to come out after this delay, and they could say we're delaying another 6 months, and I think the response would still be the same. Because you look at Rockstar's track record, not only with Red Dead Redemption, but Grand Theft Auto 5, it's just... There's a level of confidence in the quality of this game that you almost never see with anything. And that
And
must
earned.
be nice.
Earned
And
confidence.
earned. Yeah, absolutely earned.
Like I don't like Grand Theft Auto at all. Love Red Dead Redemption, and I'm thrilled as hell for this game. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, it could come out in 2020, and I'd just be like, oh, sweet, they needed the time.
Here's what I don't think is fair.
I trust them.
I don't think it's fair. We're 4 years into this current console generation, and so call this like, hey, this is the first time we've made a game from the ground up for the latest console generation.
It is though.
And they're not releasing on PC. It is, but you can't be like, hey, this is super hard to figure out at this point. We're
I
4
don't
years
think they're
in.
saying like that. They're
That's
just
what they're saying.
No, they're just saying we made a new engine,
Here's my counter to that.
which takes a year and a half.
When I think about the original Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah.
right, this was a studio that had made huge games before. San Andreas is a huge game that has a lot in it, a ton of detail. The amount of detail in Red Dead Redemption, the way that weather worked, the way that land was formed, the way that you interacted with just passerby and animals. I was like, oh, why didn't this take forever? Why aren't you still working on this?
Yeah.
Like it's just this absurd level of detail that I'm not giving them a pass per se, but if I were them and I were trying to do what they were trying to do, I'm sure no matter how good you are at this, you run into unforeseen complications.
I would love that excuse much more. Hey, this game's enormous. It's too hard to make.
Sure.
We're working 6 days a week on this. Trust us, we're working super hard on this. This game's impossible to make.
And it's not just
Give us 6
it's
months,
not just
please.
the number of assets. It's like incredible story.
Yeah.
Just packed to the brim everywhere.
And any little flaw has to be erased, or else we can't be allowed to publish.
We
I just-
refuse to put it out.
I want
Yeah.
the press email to just be, I don't know, 30 seconds, just sunrise to sunset. That's it. No words. You just watch that.
Yeah.
You go, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. We got you.
Yeah.
You know what? Take another year.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, just a video.
Jones, are you bummed as probably our biggest RDR fan?
I mean, yeah, I would like to play that game today, but I'm not disappointed in them. I don't think that speaks poorly to the quality of that game. I'm not surprised that it got bumped. I think I mean, I'm sure it's probably just technical limitations that they're happening right now. And one thing to think about is that I think GTA 5 launched and we still like weren't really sure what online was going to be.
Yes.
You know, and you look where that is now, and
there was that extra space in the character select screen to the entire.
Yeah, for
single
question
player.
mark character,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we just got like one trailer that kind of went through some of the details, but like didn't really know how missions were going to work, how leveling up was going to work, how
Heists.
heists and buying stuff. Obviously, we waited forever for that.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's going to be a thing. We're going to learn about Red Dead between now and spring. That we're going to be like, oh, okay, there it is. That's that weird thing that you were trying to figure out. It's not just like world big, textures good. You know, time to draw long. I think there is some other thing going on. There's some other cool trick that there's something else. They've just always done that. Like
fair.
They're at the point now where they're taking such time with their games that there's one other secret to this that I legitimately do not know. I have no idea what that could be. It's gonna be something to do with online. It's gonna be something to do with the multiple characters.
Yeah.
Especially after GTA 5 having the 3, and now we're seeing the posse. It's like
Yeah, you can
what are
play
they-
as all 7.
What are they hinting at? Yeah.
My God.
But specifically, how does that tie into online? Because you could play 3 in GTA 5, but there was little to no connection to your online character.
It's gonna be
Whereas how are they
online
going to blur
heavy.
that?
It's gonna be online heavy, big time.
And how is that going to work? And so I think they might be now getting into the testing of actually like, you know, people at Rockstar have now created profiles. Now they're testing how this, you know, going from single player into multiplayer or whatever. And okay, wait, like this kind of works now, but judging by how online was a little hiccupy when it first came out, we really don't want that with this game. So let's just make sure everything is firing on all cylinders.
It's a good point. They realize that is really the selling point of their games now, and so you're right. I think online will have to work out of launch now. Ian started this conversation off by saying, "Who was surprised? Who could possibly surprised?" I'm wondering if we still have more games slated for this year that the panel believes will obviously get delayed. Will Super Mario Odyssey get out this year?
yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confident, yeah.
Yeah. Holiday for sure.
Call of Duty never slips.
No.
I think Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a lock. I think those two games, you know, there's like
Yeah.
so
'Cause
consistent.
That
they
could
put 'em out
potentially be the
broken.
only Star Wars thing from EA this year
Good grief.
at E3.
No, we'll talk. I mean, we'll get there. Other games that can maybe slip. Oh, how about this? Xenoblade.
That's
2.
what I was gonna. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
For the Switch.
It feels too good to believe.
Yep. There's no way. There's simply no. That's a huge RPG.
Yeah.
That's a world too big. Drawing's too hard. That totally get it. It's like, you know
A little
what?
too big, drawing hard.
Yeah, I totally get that one. Yeah, I don't even know if Fire Emblem Warriors will come out this year. You know, Switch has a lot of games that it'll be tricky for them to come out.
I do feel like Omega Force is really good at getting stuff done, though.
Sure.
Like they are prolific.
They're a force.
They are a force. Yeah.
But I remembered Hyrule Warriors talking about that game for a long time.
Right.
And we had a whole video where we talked about our theories about it and things and what timeline it took place in. Turns out none of them. Yeah, and what's weird is I guess even if you look at 2016 and the delays we had, games were getting delayed up until October. They were still getting delayed. Maybe even November still, games getting pushed. And I think it's just a regular thing. I think, like Ian said, we just got to kind of expect them to happen. Not a regular. It's just weird. They make their timelines. They make their little marketing timelines.
Well, it's like you said though. You can kind of call them a lot of the time. Like they're the usual suspects for delays. Mass Effect Andromeda, like games like that are big,
Yeah.
story-heavy games. Especially with the character creator, because that seems to cause problems. And then Call of Duty and stuff like that, like doesn't generally get delayed because it's, I don't know, they've been doing it for a while and they don't really iterate. They don't build a whole new engine every time, you know.
Yeah.
Is Sea of Thieves slated for 2017?
Oh, when is that game coming?
Ben, that's a good
That is a
pick.
game I could see very much.
That could
getting
easily
delayed.
slip.
I don't even know if they've set a date though.
They've not set a date.
Because
I think they did slate it for 2017 though.
Yeah.
what's so interesting about Sea of Thieves is it seems to fit that perfect delay profile where you
Yeah.
hear about
Yeah.
it and you see a bunch and then darkness.
Yeah.
It's like a No Man's Sky where it's like, yeah, it feels like that. They're just going to delay it over and over.
Let's talk about another game I believe will probably hit its release date that was just announced. September 8th, 2017, we will see the release of Destiny 2.
Hitting for sure.
Hitting for sure. I feel like that's a lock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Destiny never slips on these release dates. Though,
Well,
I mean, the
because-
first one did slip a bunch. throughout development. Maybe not announced release dates, but yeah, boy, that game came out later than they wanted it to. So there was a big reveal event last week for Destiny 2. Big time to shine, show off the new game, show off what's new. Jones went to the event, Ben watched it. I'm struggling. I have a headline. I think, what is the big story, but I'm not. I want to know what you two. What is the headline? What would you pull if, let's say, you're the editor of a magazine? What's the headline for the Destiny 2 reveal?
Starting over.
I think that's a good headline.
That's 2 words, Jones. I need a juicier headline than that.
Reboot. No, not reboot, but...
Great headlines are right kick in the teeth. Starting over.
No.
Boom.
You know, I mean, like Destiny starts over or something. You know, I need all the information in that sentence.
This is probably not what you're looking for, but
Okay.
I would say something along the lines of, like, it goes deeper than you think.
Okay. So...
Whoa.
I'm not convinced I saw either of those things from the
Sure.
materials that popped up.
Sure.
Jones, do you really get the impression from looking at what they showed starting over?
I was skeptical going into the Destiny 2 announcement, and I
Yeah.
walked out being like, oh, all right. Like, I'm
Oh,
okay, I'm
reluctant,
getting
okay?
excited about this.
Uh-huh.
When I first heard that they were just kind of like throwing out everybody's gear, kind of throwing out, not necessarily the story because the Cabal are back, but like, you know, like just being like, oh, we're just going to make a new game. And I was like, isn't that not what this was? Like, isn't that the point that like you were going to make something that was going to be persistent, that
Sure.
we were going to move, you know, forward, and you were completely silent about how that was going to work. You're like, yeah, do all the raids and put 100, 200 hours into it and get all that stuff. And now it's gone. I was like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that to your fan base. That doesn't seem like a plan. That seems like something that seems like the last idea that you had of like, well, if everything screws up, we can just throw it all away and just start over. But it invigorates me because there's a lot of people I imagine that either like got the first round of Destiny and were not invested in all of the DLC packs, that might have a friend group that is really into Destiny now, that is going to be even more into it when Destiny 2 comes out. And so they're thinking, well, if we're starting fresh and I can kind of jump in at the same point that you are, and we can all be the same level, and maybe the experience you've had with Destiny can help maybe carry me through and understanding what Destiny 2 is going to be. And it's tricky because what I got out of that, it's tricky that you phrase it that way, Kyle, because what I got out of that presentation was not necessarily, this is the golden ticket, the one thing that's going to make Destiny 2 successful.
Because I got the golden ticket.
What I saw was a big list of grievances made over several years towards Destiny 1 that were just kind of checked off one by one by one. You know, that was like...
Well, what are some of the grievances? What do you mean?
My big thing with the story,
Yeah.
and that like we're going into 2, and they're like, oh, Cade was in that trailer. I'm like, who? And they're like, Cade is the hunter guy. It's like, I was a hunter, and I don't know who. Like,
Cade
okay, that
6,
robot, I
Nathan
guess, great.
Fillion.
Yeah.
Because that character was sitting at a desk,
Right.
the same side of the desk, in the same position every time I walked into that room. That's not a character to me. That's a voice, kinda. That's a waypoint. That's not a person that has feelings or a story or what. I don't care about Nathan. I love Nathan Fillion to death. But I just am not, and I'm this person's class, and like I don't care. Like I go to the ship area, and the lady is like leaning up against a desk for 2 years, and it's just kind of like she never walks around. I never see her in any cutscenes.
So
and
I'm sorry,
even in the first
sequel,
game,
she's going to be a bigger deal?
so even in the first gameplay demo,
Yeah.
now she's piloting me somewhere. Now I'm actually seeing Cade and seeing the guy from Fringe and seeing the bald mage lady, like actually seeing them like do stuff in combat, actually using their skills. I get the vibe that what I'm doing in this battle is a part of the other things they're doing too. Not like, we're super smart, we're going to be here in the tower, you go do all of the tough stuff all of the time. That it's kind of a vibe, like just comparing like the tower to this our new hub area, which is like, this is where humans stopped running and started rebuilding, and it's just kind of like you get this old western vibe. There's like farms, there's little kids running around. It's like,
Whoa.
okay, here we go. It's not just like, yeah, you're in this really tall tower and there's a super cool city over there, trust us, it's there, lots of people live there, you'll never see them, you'll never do anything with them. Opening up that door, you know, that like was closed throughout all of Destiny 1 in the tower, and there's like this kind of seedy back like alleyway thing. I think it just the whole thing seemed to play directly toward everything the fans were expecting and hoping. And I was seeing people around me explode around things. I was like, I don't even know what you're excited about. What's happening? You know,
Yeah.
all these little tiny details. Just yes, 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 yes.
So, Ben, you told us it goes deeper than we think.
Yes.
How deep does it go? What do you mean?
What I mean in my perspective on it, a lot of the response that I saw, I actually completely relate to, and I understand where they're coming from, where they're like, this this just looks like Destiny. I think a lot of people who felt burned by Destiny initially, you know, they were expecting this next great game from Bungie, the people who made this legendary FPS series with Halo, they felt that Destiny was shallow, that it didn't go far enough. And so I think when you're talking about Destiny 2, those same people kind of want to see them reinvent the wheel again. And I actually don't know if that's the direction to go with Destiny 2. And the more I thought about it, just bouncing off of what Jones was saying, the more I think they're taking a much smarter approach. There is a lot to love in Destiny, and they learned a lot of lessons over time. The shooting feels fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's crazy.
The world is interesting. The aesthetic is cool. It's inviting. You want to know more about it, but they did a terrible job of filling in those holes. And when I'm talking to Jones about it, and the first thing that he says is, I was immediately invested. These are these characters that I was interacting with. Yes, yes, yes. As a player who, like, doesn't necessarily have the time or desire to dig into outside resources to find a guild to get together, guided games and making it more easy to see that sort of stuff. It's like their Destiny had this great foundation, but there were a bunch of holes, and they're plugging these holes. And I think that is all they need to do. And they're just being super smart about it. Potentially.
So, I love that positivity. I love that you two are really being nice. Here's the thing. I started this. If I were to write the headline, maybe this is because I'm a skis ball. I would write Destiny PC version planned, but not for any date.
Why lead with that?
So Ian, because I wanted to stir controversy. I want to talk to the controversy. So here's the thing. Destiny's on PS4. It's on Xbox One on September 8th. Is that the date we had?
Correct.
Yeah, September 8th. Nobody knows where the PC version's coming. Frame rate's locked at 30 frames per second on PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One, maybe Scorpio. They can't talk about it yet.
Was there a PC? There wasn't a PC version of 1, was
No.
No. And on that PC version, you got that unlocked frame rate. Meaning on my hog, it's going to be 120, baby.
Good
Why?
for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that this game that is traditionally a console game is going to have a PC version that's far superior. However, it's second fiddle. It is coming out later at an undetermined date.
Yeah, and it's especially weird because if you watch that presentation, like pretty immediately, that is a point of pride that they bring up. Like, hey, we're bringing this to PC. That is something that you've wanted.
Yeah.
We're excited about it. And you're right, when you get down to the details of when it's actually coming out, it does feel second fiddle, and I can't figure out a good reason why.
In their defense,
Yeah.
At the event was a strike, PvP, and the campaign missions, all playable on PS4 and PC.
Did you
anything
play them
that
on
they
both?
showed, I did not play the strike because it was like kind of exhausting. Like strikes are like an endurance test a little bit, especially because you don't know who you're like when you have no idea what partners you're going to wind up with. Like my strike partners were not. One in particular was not very helpful. But
Name names. Who is this?
I don't know. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I did not know them. So I was impressed by that they were like, if you want to check out any of the stuff we have on offer, it's all available on PC. There's nothing weird about the PC version where it's like the specs are locked and you can't change them or check settings or whatever. It was all there. Yeah, you did.
So just to confirm,
So that felt good. That it's like that I can express to you not just, oh yeah, we saw on paper that it's going to run well. I
You
played
played
it.
it on
It's
PC?
gorgeous.
Felt
like,
great?
Immediately you can tell. Like
That's
that
cool.
campaign mission. The first thing you see is you're walking up the tower in the rain, and just the rain. I was like, okay, night and day from the PS4 version.
4K, baby.
Man, that kind of splits the user base a little bit.
Oh,
Do
big
I-
time.
Do I want to get it on PS4 or PC? No.
Yeah.
just to clarify, we do not have an
PS4.
exact date on the PC, right?
No, nobody
Okay.
does.
So let's say it comes out a week later. How
No,
much
but
does that matter?
That's not a big deal to me. A week later,
If they say it ahead of time, then yeah, whatever.
But we think about games where you have this persistent progression,
Yeah.
where there is excitement, where there is like trying to get in and learn stuff together. That I think that is way more intense than some sort of single player RPG or single player experience. As somebody who has the option to play it on either console or PC, it's going to be hard waiting on PC when you have this sense that, oh man, the world is figuring out all of this stuff.
no, you're right. Ben, that 1 week is actually a huge deal.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
even
You
that
know what
1
I would
week.
love is if it's cross-play, but not like people playing on PS4 or Xbox or PC aren't playing on the same network together, but my character, my account, I can jump between PS4 and PC and progress on both, and it's one character.
Oh, sure.
Or even if you could just do some sort of transfer. Yeah.
But like, if I could just jump back and forth, like, oh, my PC friends are playing on PC tonight, I'll play with you over here. Oh, my PS4 friends are playing over here, I'll play with you over here tonight. Like, and it's the same character. That would be amazing.
It'd be a cool thing.
It's on BattleNet? That's weird.
It is on BattleNet on PC.
That's weird,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
isn't it?
Activision Blizzard.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Activision. Yeah, never mind. That's
no,
not
it's
weird.
cool. No, it is. Jones, I think that's worth bringing up because Call of Duty's not on.
Right?
I forgot this is
BattleNet.
Activision.
So that was a big announcement. That was a kind of unprecedented thing. Is that normally it's only Blizzard stuff on BattleNet, and finally that Activision partnership is paying off.
If you're playing Hearthstone, you will be able to chat with people playing Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a really easy thing to say, like, oh, that's cool, it makes sense, Activision Blizzard, but how big of a deal that is, because if you think about Blizzard games, if you think about World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
if you think about Hearthstone, these are games where that community is logging in every day and they're going to see that Destiny icon, and that is very important.
It's new. It's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Destiny 2 might be a very big deal.
I wonder how Blizzard felt about if they were like, yeah, whatever. If their Activision came down like a ghost out of the sky and was like, we're putting Destiny on.
Because think about how
BattleNet is
confusing
for Blizzard
Destiny was when it launched.
Okay.
Like, remember, like, Tyrion, what is that actor's name? I tried for 10 minutes
Peter
to remember.
Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. Remember the little Dinklage debacle that, like, we didn't like him, and they fired him,
The
and they brought in
Dinkbuckle.
somebody new, and, like, we didn't know, okay, yeah, we have strikes, but there's going to be a raid. Well, when is the raid coming? How does that work? You know, like, okay, I hit level 20, and now I need light. What is the what? You know, there's a lot of confusion. And just imagine Destiny 2, no confusion. Like they said right off the bat, this game is launching with a raid, and everyone's like that was one of my concerns. Like a raid, that's kind of a bummer. The original game launched with a raid. I was, thought you maybe do 2 just for Destiny 2 and 2 raids, but they're like,
original game
no,
didn't launch with
one
a
raid. Or you actually didn't launch with
Right.
anything.
Zero
But like when
raids.
we
It
finally
came
did
way
get
later.
something, all the expansions, all I believe, just had one raid in it.
Jones,
so
can
it's like
you really quick in one sentence tell me what a raid is?
the strikes are 3-person.
No, don't you use words like strikes. What is a raid?
A
in the
raid.
context of Destiny.
Big long super mission.
Actually,
with
never
a
did
hard
any
boss
raids
at
because
the
they
end.
didn't do any of the DLC
Okay.
stuff.
5 players.
Is
I
it
think,
in
or
environments?
6.
Is it an entirely new environment too? Correct.
Generally, yeah, and they usually for some reason save the best gameplay stuff
Yeah.
for the raids.
Yeah.
That's
Lot
the
of
weird
unique
thing is when you were
mechanics.
describing the raids, that's not elements that were in the single player at all. Or not single player,
Yeah.
but campaign at all.
So I think the smartest thing for them to do is by the time Destiny 2 launches,
Yep.
you will know what that game is exactly what it's going to be. So they can just hit the ground running like they weren't able to do. They just kind of stumbled a lot after the launch of Destiny 1. And I just think they're going to have a lot more momentum by being really realistic about it. Like, yeah, it's not gonna be this life-altering thing. It's not gonna completely upend all the stuff they did with the first Destiny. It's gonna be a much smarter game that there's gonna be a lot of variety to the way you can play it. And it's going to, if you liked that first Destiny, there's nothing you're not gonna like about the sequel.
Destiny is one of those series that's so funny because I love it. I love it. But I don't care.
I don't care. I love it. Go ahead.
Nice.
But like I didn't watch this event. I wanted to, but I was busy. And I intend to like watch it again, but I'm not in a super rush.
Yeah. But you're gonna
And
dig into that game. When
I'm
it
gonna
comes out.
buy the hell out of this game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy every expansion. I'm gonna play it for hours and hours with my friends, laying there, just laying there playing Destiny.
Like, I
2.
don't care about the Traveler, but when that UFO like locks onto the Traveler, I'm like, oh no.
Really?
See, I don't even.
Traveler,
That's
no
exciting.
Blow up the Traveler. Let it
Yeah,
go.
the Traveler needs like it's a bad story that's poorly executed, and like the characters do not matter. That's actually one thing I'm a little worried about. If they're like trying to force more story, I'm like, nah, just take that out. Just don't even try. You're bad at it.
I think that the way that Destiny 2 development happened and all the story that was ditched, I bet so much was so cool though.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hope it's good.
The way that I feel about the story is I want it happening around me as I'm
Right.
doing good things.
I
and
don't
so
want
if
to hear a VO as I'm in
like-
it watching a loading screen.
if you just don't care, you're still doing the Destiny bits
Right.
that you like.
Right.
But if you do care, it feels more important. It feels like they're giving it more weight.
And I mean, I do care. Like, I think that the world is interesting. I just thought it was always executed in such a strange way. Like you were saying, NPCs just standing around and loading screens and,
Yeah, where it's like one planet, like for the mage lady, like her whole thing is that they've lost the light, they've been cut off from the Traveler, so you got to find some other place that they actually haven't gotten into, of like where these new abilities come from, and so she goes to some planet kind of similar to like Dagobah with Yoda and the tree. It's just like a place where it's like sacred of light, the light came from there or it's stronger there or something, so she's going there, and like automatically it's like, oh cool, like in the first game it's just like Mars. You're like, all right, like
Sure.
there's lots of stuff going on Mars, but there wasn't
Yeah.
like one reason I went there.
Mars
I
kinda
just went
sucked,
there because
actually.
it was another planet. So it's like, okay, before I even get there, again, I might not be really into that character, because I'm a hunter and that's a warlock. But just having the context and having that one person explain to you directly the stuff that's happening on the planet is a step above what they did in the first game.
I feel like anytime I talked about Destiny 1, I always had a laundry list of complaints. Like I was never able to unreservedly love it.
Yeah.
But I think it is undeniable the success that Destiny 1 has. As you were saying, we can go back and we can look at all of the things that Destiny did wrong, but in terms of like taking up the social space of video games, in terms of like feeling like a big deal, in a lot of ways Destiny was a smashing success. And so I think it would have been easy for them with Destiny 2, with this presentation, to take that angle with it and be like, hey guys, remember how much we knocked it out of the park with Destiny? Here's Destiny 2. But they didn't do that. That's not how they're phrasing this. There's a level of humility present. There's this acknowledgement of what's going on with the game in the ways that people want it to be better. And that will always fill me with so much more faith than just trying to minimize that stuff.
I have a lot of respect for Destiny, actually, because of that. Like, the game came out and it was really out of touch and really bad and really weird and like there was so much wrong with it. But then they really did own that and they seemed to listen and they really fixed a lot of stuff. And I respect that a lot. The one thing that was never fixed, and I think it's just, I don't think it's laziness, but it's like some kind of like MMO disconnect kind of a deal where, yeah, like guys are always just, the NPCs are just there and nothing feels like it changes. And I don't feel like because it's hilarious for a game whose weirdly worded tagline was become legend or whatever, where it's like legendary is a conjugation, whatever. But like you don't, it's like an MMO where you're coming in and you're, important, but you're not. Like nothing you do impacts this world in any way at all. And
Your character can never be a legend.
can never be a legend. You literally cannot become legend
Yes.
in this game because it doesn't matter. Nothing happens, nothing changes. And the biggest example, the easiest example of that was I was an awakened or whatever race. And I showed up at the reef and I was like, "Oh, sick. This is where my people are from. They're going to see me and be like, "Hey sister, like where have you been? Like welcome back, I got the same cutscenes as a human player.
Yeah.
I got the same cutscenes as a robot with boobs. Like, it made no difference. And I was like, oh, right, it's just Destiny. They don't care who I am. And I hope that kind of stuff changes.
I doubt it, but
I doubt it.
They'll have more
So
story
that's the
stuff.
thing. It's like
They'll have
when
more
you
story
come out with the
stuff.
franchise and you're like 10 years, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be the big 10-year thing. Then I'm like, wow, you really got your ducks all in a row. And I like Activision being like, yeah, we thought we did. But
Right.
we're looking at Destiny as less like we've got the whole thing figured out. Just wait for this 7 more year thrill ride.
Yeah.
And more like, thank you community for being so amazing. You've taught us a lot about this game. We're trying to make it the game you want to play.
You're right.
That seemed like the vibe at the event. And I know we talked a lot about the game. The event itself was fantastic. Just the way they rolled everything out, the ratio of like person talking on stage and then getting the hell off and then putting a video that did a much better job of really going through all the specific details. And really just making Bungie and making that community personable and kind of come to life.
And as Ben said, I think it's cool, especially because the first game was so successful. It would be so easy to just, wow, we're back. Here's this.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Yeah,
Like,
and I love that.
can
Like,
you-
we're a bunch of nerds. We like shooting stuff.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
that-
what?
Like just coming out there and being like you're ready to get more loot, like just it could just feel so
Well, that was the trailer ahead of this. Was let's get more loot.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But that
Which I
but that
didn't-
but that
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is the buck didn't stop there.
Yep.
There was something underneath all that, because
Yeah.
I do want more loot, but there was one thing I really wanted to comment on with you talking about this race and going to this place and having that not feel significant, because like on one hand I completely agree with you and it's like, yeah, that would be really awesome if they could make that choice matter, but then I think about this game that they're trying to make, and it's like, in order to fit it into this structure where you have a bunch of people that need to do tasks repeatedly, the way that you do what you're saying is I think you give the player like less options, less choices, less customization. And I think you just, with certain games, with certain developments, you have to make a sacrifice somewhere.
I mean, the way I would do it in that example
Yeah.
is, okay, the cutscene, because you want the cutscenes to be the same length because people are playing online with each other unless it's a single-player section. Let's say the cutscene is a minute long, 60 seconds.
Right.
There's a 5-second chunk, 20 seconds into every cutscene, where they make an acknowledgement of your player race. Like, oh, we haven't seen a human up here in a while. Or, welcome back, sister.
Sure.
Or like, oh, an exo, that's cool. And you just make...
That's so shallow, though. That's like
Right.
such a... That's a
Right,
tiniest
no.
thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's a good
Destiny.
point, because then are we just saying, oh, this is the laziest way to include that kind of a thing?
I mean, like, roll that out over, like, if they're... I don't know if they added races or whatever, but, like, I don't think that's that hard, and that's all I wanted. Mm-hmm. I just want my player, like, the choice of my character to matter at all. Like, gender, race, whatever,
That's
to matter at all. And I don't think it's hard to record one extra line of dialogue.
I think to Ben's point, I think that was originally in the game's design, but I think as it evolved, as it changed, in order for them to get it out, they just dropped that aspect of your origins ever mattering. Got to ship a game.
I'm saying it doesn't have to be a big deal. Because it shouldn't be in Destiny, but it should be a deal at all. It's weird that they don't acknowledge that I'm the same race as them going to the Rift. It's weird.
You're wearing a helmet.
Not in the cutscene, no one.
Oh. Maybe they didn't believe you.
Maybe.
I don't want to
There's
talk.
a cosplayer.
Yeah. There's plenty of blue skinned people out there, right? Sorry, y'all hear that? Oh, sounds like it's podcast F time!
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of May. Michael Kozachenko, who you can follow at Mishakos. Richard Smuts, who you can follow at Thraxis. Mango. El Thanis. iKeyless. Need a new car key or remote? iKeyless.com has been in the key replacement business since 2002. Check them out today and they can help save you up to 75% off of the dealership's prices. If you type in offer code EASY at checkout, you'll get 15% off of your order. Hogue Law Business Law Firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. At Hogue Law, they're not just attorneys, they're entrepreneurs with more than a decade of experience representing software, hardware, and game developers, or developers themselves. They're proud to support the Allies, so check them out at hoaglaw.com. Scorn, an atmospheric horror adventure developed by Ebb Software, set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry. Go to scorn-game.com for more information. Sweet Justice, a sound design company from England that focuses on audio for game cinematics and trailers. They're also heavily involved in sound design and sound implementation for games. They've worked on Battlefield, Mirror's Edge, Call of Duty, Injustice 2, and a load of indies. You can see and hear their work at www.sweetjustice.audio. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors.
Brandon, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How does it feel to not have a problem that many people have where they're interacting with somebody for the first time and they're worried about how they sound?
Right.
You just say, well, I sound amazing. I'm going to come across well.
I never think that when I'm dealing with someone in person because sounding good, pales in comparison to what you actually say.
Sure.
But there is a conceited, self-serving attitude that I do have on a regular basis, and that is when I order food over the phone. Whenever somebody's like, "How would you like to order something?" and I'm like, "Yes, I would like to order food from your fine outlet.
Funny you
I'll
should
take
ask.
a pepperoni pizza, please."
Have they ever heard your voice and kind of been taken
'Cause, like-
aback and you can sense it?
No, but like whenever I read, they're like, give me your credit card number, and I read the first four, and they're like, "I'm sorry, I didn't get that." It's like, that's on you.
Oh, you bastard.
Because I'm pretty sure I read that coherently.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's
John.
just me. That's it.
That's
That's the only-
on you. You're like Gaston of food ordering.
Exactly.
Now I said we're in pre E3, right? Our little bag of
Pre-3.
popcorn is starting to unfold.
Pre-3.
Crinkling.
Pre-3.
Pre-3.
You know what? I'm not cool with that abbreviation.
Hold
Pre-3.
the E. Pre-3.
Pre E3 starts
It's in the game.
right now.
It's in
so,
the bag.
EA. Okay, so what I like to do on this podcast is the Easy Allies Podcast E3 Press Conference Preview 2017.
Oh, those are good graphics for people listening. Oof. Those graphics.
Yeah, if you are a listener, you're missing out on the laser light show.
It's phenomenal.
We got some gas that poured in. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was very
Fog
cool.
machines.
Is that what it's affecting us? The gas?
It's the gas pouring in.
It's the gas. This thing's loose.
Tighten it up.
It's fine.
So, this is unusual. Our first press conference this year comes to us from Electronic Arts.
On Saturday.
It's in the bag. On a Saturday.
It's in the bag.
So just 2 years ago, we had a podcast. We were talking about how weird it was that Bethesda was doing a press conference on a Sunday.
How
that
classic
was weird.
EA to be like,
Yeah.
we
Actually,
can
we'll-
start E3 even earlier.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
like,
take that.
Well, okay.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Next year, E3 is going to start like 3 weeks ago.
Like Ubi's gonna announce their press conference first. It's gonna be that Saturday, and EA's gonna be like, "We're on Friday."
Ubisoft was a
Wednesday.
holdout this year, actually. Ubisoft took a long time to announce their
did.
press conference. As Jones said, it's Saturday, June 10th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Right there, right noon.
Noons.
Pretty easy to watch for any
for
person,
us.
you know. Not just for us, but here's the thing: when it was everything on Monday, if you're working that day,
Yeah.
what are you supposed to?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we always
Quit
got messages.
your job.
People would take the day off. People would
Yeah.
call in and take that day off, which I highly respect. That's pretty cool. But I don't mind it. I don't mind the stretching out too much. That's a whole other thing. But let's talk about EA. Let's talk about this press conference. Let's talk about what they will kick off E3 with. Here's what's been promised. Here are the promised games that will be featured within EA's E3. Star Wars Battlefront 2. It's happening. We saw the reveal trailer of it, but not really gameplay yet, and so I think we can expect to see a lot of gameplay from that. FIFA 18, Madden NFL 18, NBA Live 18. That one I'm actually surprised by. And finally, a new Need for Speed game. EA says we'll be at E3 this year, which is kind of exciting, because who knows where that's going. The last thing we had was that weird full-motion video game.
Right.
VR.
VR Need for Speed. I think it would need...
VR compatible.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Like RE7. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
we got a little VR in there.
Optional full playthrough, not required.
So yeah, I want to start with the promised. So we're gonna do promised, likely, and maybe. So I want to talk about those games. Star Wars is the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Campaign footage, single player campaign. We're gonna see a level.
I'm calling Rey versus Kylo.
That's
Yeah,
the
we'll
level.
see
is it?
that.
Those will be the two heroes focused on in the demo.
My image of Battlefront is Hoth. I think that's what the beta was, and I think that's how it was originally announced in the first announcement of Battlefront. What is a distinct location to say, hey, this is a sequel, this is number 2, this is not that other game? Where is that first stage?
Starkiller base, the base from
More snow?
that bridge.
Well, I guess there were trees.
The-
it was.
The,
But
the space where Han fell. That we will see the interior of that room. That
Spoilers.
long ass bridge will be.
I think that
A
they're
specific
going to introduce a 2-player hide and seek mode where you play as Rey and Luke on Luke's little loneliness mountain, and Luke like runs around and you try to find him.
Hi, I'm
That's pretty
Luke,
fun.
and this is my.
He's like a
little
Korok
loneliness
seed.
mountain.
He's just like
Yeah. You find him, he's like,
He's floating.
you found me. Sure.
Jedi need to go away. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it will show stuff from Episode 8. I mean,
They'll announce some DLC.
Yeah,
like
level.
they announced Jakku, I think, at E3.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that the thing?
but the single player mission, the campaign, takes place after Star Wars Episode 6.
Yeah, it's between Empire and Jedi. Right?
Wait, no. You see from the Ewok.
Yeah,
Planet.
immediately after Jedi.
Yeah.
Begins with the destruction of the Death Star 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So I mean that's where we're
That's-
gonna be, right?
whoa,
I mean
yeah.
that's where that game is. Oh man, that's such an interesting story to tell to me. I love that.
I'm into it. Yeah.
I'm glad they found a place to put this game. But let's talk about this press conference in particular. We think we're gonna see a single player campaign. I think if we are seeing multiplayer, it'll be much like last year where Battlefield 1 just had like some celebrities play it for an hour after their press conference. I
Yeah.
bet they'll do that again.
Ugh.
I think the multiplayer will be playable. We might get a little gameplay tease, but
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, and now the big thing is to play it here.
Yeah.
And we got EA Play, which we want you to buy tickets to, so come to that.
Yeah.
So they'll hold a little bit of that multiplayer back. They'll probably push the campaign.
Yeah.
Mostly. We'll get some trailer that will have her talking. Like we'll hear her voice.
Sure.
That character. I can't believe that day. I never thought I'd see something like that. Death Star blowing up. I'm a little lukewarm on the story. Is that worth talking about?
No.
It seemed like 99% of human beings all just lost their minds about this campaign.
Yeah.
And like I'm not doing backflips over finding out the loser's story. Like you lost. The Empire lost. There's no comeback. We've
Did
seen
they? They're
we've
back
seen in
bigger
episode
and better
7
than ever
the
in
Empire's
7.
not there. Like they're not called the Empire, it's not called the Rebellion.
Yeah.
So
It's the
it's gonna be
Republic
a
and the First Order,
downward
they're-
spiral.
There's still a bunch of
it's
Star
not gonna
Destroyers
have a
out there,
happy
Jones.
ending.
So First Order is orders of magnitude bigger than the Empire was.
I don't
Right.
think it is. Is it?
Starkiller Base is huge. Their army is huge.
I don't. We need some Star Wars facts.
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but good
Yeah,
lord.
I mean, all the Star Destroyers and stuff like that. There were lots of different ships in the Death Star 2 battle.
It looked like they didn't get hit
They were
that
spread pretty
hard.
thin.
by the
Basically,
Empire
she's a
falling.
bad guy, right?
Yes.
Like we don't like the Empire.
Yeah.
We don't feel sad seeing the Death Star 2 blow up. We're not
No.
like, oh, the Emperor should have won.
But to me, that's exactly why it's
That's
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
Star
would
Wars,
be interesting if I knew who she was, but she's just a soldier.
You're
so
going
like
to
I
know
don't
who
know.
she is.
We don't know
why.
yet.
Right. So
You're mad that-
I'm just skeptical. I'm just
Are
like,
you
okay,
afraid of new
I'm
things?
excited to learn what her story is and get more into that. I was once pitched a very interesting story about Darth Vader having a secret apprentice and it didn't turn out well. So I'm
that's
I'm just being a
true.
little reserved about like we made up this brand new character and we're just
Yeah.
gonna jam her into the story somewhere in a
that's
spot
what's
that
in-
was intentionally vacant. Of literally the downward spiral of all of these Imperial rebels running in fear as they should. Get out of here, you cowards! You lost. And it's like, no, we're actually going to focus on one. It's going to be super interesting. And I'm curious to see how that is. But I don't immediately think like that's going to be dope.
Jones, I think there's no way to make Darth Vader's secret apprentice work because you have to have a relationship with Darth Vader. You're already
Right.
tied into that, and
Yeah.
so I think there's a lot of freedom in this.
Like
story.
this, I mean, I'm skeptical because it's a Battlefront.
It has
game.
potential, great potential. Just based on what I've seen so far, I'm not like losing it. That's it.
Where do you stand, Ian?
Well, because it's a Battlefront game, I'm a little more skeptical
Sure.
than if it was like Amy Hennig's thing or something. But
Yeah.
like, what would be interesting is like the first part of this game, like the first act, is her being like, "Oh, we gotta strike back. We got the Empire. Like, we gotta protect our stuff," because they all think they're the good guys.
Sure.
And like, she's like, "Oh, we gotta fight these insurgents, these terrorists," blah blah blah. But then like the second half of the game is her realizing like, no, that's it. Oh, it fell apart. And then she's like a mercenary for a while, a bounty hunter for a while. And then like the third act is just her coming to grips with like her new life, and like she gets a ship and
We
like,
gotta like make some hot cocoa.
has a kid. You like live with this person for like 30 years.
Yeah.
She's Ray's mom.
But these are all cutscenes that are gonna bookend just battles.
Pointless battles.
I'm
yeah.
assuming. You know what I mean? It's just that
Oh,
like
the stages themselves? No, they'll be.
if
cool.
they're adding a campaign to the Battlefront I previously played, I'm waiting more news. I'm basically
Right,
waiting to
sure,
be like,
sure,
okay, how are you going to handle this?
Right.
And
Are
if we
they
come out of
actually
E3,
making a story?
see,
Yeah.
I think that's the point I'm making. If we come out of E3 with them having not explained it at all,
Right.
Yeah.
and just basically being like, no, this woman's real cool, and it's like, I need to know how this factors in. I need to know why I'm gonna be. It's like, did you think up the campaign and then create those environments and then those ended up being the multiplayer maps? Or did you all decide what would be the most interesting multiplayer
Right.
maps to do in a Star Wars universe and then make a campaign and force the writers to weave it through?
That's what I'm
You gotta get to
skeptical
Hoth.
about.
It's gotta go to Hoth. They're
Yeah.
like, Hoth, what?
Yeah, that happened. I see
so
that.
I'm just nervous.
I don't
But,
think it'll be that. I think it'll be set piece moments. I think you're going to see a lot of set piece moments. There are going to be a lot of memorable actions that you
Like
take.
if I'm playing online with my friends and I'm like, oh, this map's really cool, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, that's just the single player version of this map is even cooler because they do this weird thing. The ship comes in and that they don't do that multiplayer. And my multiplayer friends are like, oh yeah, I didn't play campaign. It's like you should because you're missing out.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm nervous, I'll be like, you're not. It's the same map. It's just like the context. There's a 2-minute cutscene leading into it,
Right.
basically.
Need for Speed, we got
It's gonna
guesses
be
for
a
Need
great
for Speed.
2 hours.
VR was a good guess. Outside of that,
I
don't
think
know.
I think you cannot do a direct sequel to the last Need for Speed, which was
I
just
think
called
they
Need
would
for Speed, wasn't it? I think
Yeah.
it had no subtitle. I don't think it can be Need for
Was
Speed
Aaron
2.
Paul in that? Was that game?
That was a
No, that
different
was the
one.
movie.
That was the right.
Oh yeah,
And then there was
that was the movie.
there was the run. Is that a different thing?
That was a different thing. Yeah, that had cutscenes and
The quick
things.
time events where you got out of the car and
Yeah.
But was that
Jumped over
FMV
buildings.
as well?
No, that was CG.
Oh yeah, you just right. You got
Had
out of
Christina
cars and
Hendricks. I
things.
don't remember
Yeah.
anyone else who was in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could play as cops in this one probably.
Oh, Hot Pursuit vibe?
Sure. Yeah, I mean they just
Like
did that though.
either.
They did that before the reboot.
Yeah.
You know that like.
Specifically Hot Pursuit.
And what do you do
Yeah.
with Need for Speed that's exciting today? How do you find an angle on this to make people tweet about it?
Well, they tried to do the kitchen sink with the last one. They tried to be like, this is for every type of racing thing
Yes.
you would ever want to do.
Right.
Do you
So something more focused, I
Jet
guess.
skis.
what do you got, Ben?
do you expand the scope of it? Do you
No.
you don't?
It was huge last time. You have a big old city. You know, it's that kind
No,
of thing.
but
you
no,
know?
no. I don't mean it necessarily in that way. I mean
Okay.
in terms of structure, like online. Sort of, I'm thinking more of like a Test Drive Unlimited kind of situation.
I wouldn't know what that means.
Like, you're right that you have this huge city in the new remake, but I guess like, sort of like Forza Horizon style, where you constantly have like these challenges online, and you're just like you're constantly made aware of what your friends are doing, which I guess they've already done in Need for Speed, but I don't know. I guess now that I'm saying it out loud and kind of stumbling over myself, I don't know what the hell you do with Need for Speed.
I figured it out.
Okay.
I
Nice.
figured it out. Okay.
We got it.
This one takes place a few years in the future. Some events have taken place. AI has become a thing. Whatever. It's like slightly cyberpunk. It's like cyberpunk beginnings. Like slight like future. And you are a courier. This is a little bit of transporter vibes or whatever. Or not transporter. Whatever. The other one. Whatever. You're an cyber enhanced courier. Mm-hmm. But something's gone wrong with your enhancements, and you have a literal need for speed. So if you slow down, you die. Like in the episode of the X-Files Drive. Mm-hmm. So you have a literal need for speed. Cyberpunk future. You cannot stop.
Crank. We're talking
Crank. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And you can like call in. You have there's a cavalcade of interesting characters. You can never leave your vehicle because if you do, you'll die. So you have to like call in your buddy like Griff to like gas you up on the go.
Gas me
And,
up,
like,
Griff.
And then you can like upgrade like drones and stuff to like go outside and like shoot at the cops and like monitor other side streets so you're like safe and you can plan routes of like to avoid the cops and the other factions, because you've got the goods and they're trying to get you. So you've got like 3 other factions trying to get it and the cops. But if you ever slow down, you die.
Yeah.
You're also hallucinating like crazy the whole
Right,
time.
all the time. And then this guy keeps saying, "Have I ever told you the definition of insanity?"
Yeah.
Like over and over.
Over and over.
I feel like when you have a series like Need for Speed,
Yeah.
you think about its entire timeline and how many different permutations there are.
Uh-huh.
I feel like there are only 2 directions that you can go.
What are those?
The first direction is you lean back on one of those permutations. You say we're
Lean
returning.
back.
We're returning to this.
Right.
Hey, do you remember all of this stuff that you loved? We're making it return bigger than better, and they've done that a lot. They've returned a lot. Or you just go kind of what Ian was saying in a completely weird and new direction. But
Future or past?
I feel like the people that are attached to the different permutations of Need for Speed, and because there have been so many, are really attached to it and want that return. And so
Need for Speed is a very successful series still, is the
Right.
thing we're stating, right?
Right, and so I think it's
is
I
weird.
think it's also in this weird situation where if you go too weird,
Yeah.
you just end up pissing off everyone.
Right. Yeah.
And that seems like a tricky spot.
Yeah. Yeah, people are mad about the run.
Right.
I think what you have to consider, you have to look at the money the Fast and the Furious franchise is making,
Right.
and you have to adapt. I
You
think
gotta
have
race
to.
a submarine. You
Yeah.
gotta do it. Just do it.
I do. I think that's what the trailer needs is a moment like that, and I really do. And I know that's insulting. And
I feel like that's what the FMV version was trying to get at, like this like weird friends family vibe,
yeah, but
The
we
last
never
one?
we never
Yeah.
had to
The last
out-
one was very grounded in reality. The
Right,
last one
but
had
like-
real people you were talking to.
Right, we
but
never
like-
outrun
like-
a
like-
submarine. We
No,
never
but
had
like-
that
celebrities.
moment.
They were trying to like be like the early Fast and Furious ones before
yeah.
they all became superheroes.
You
They were
don't
like
go
trying
really.
to give you that vibe.
You gotta.
I would be so
dropping out of
into that.
helicopters. Which one?
If that's like if we're talking E3 2017,
Yeah.
they're showing a game, they don't say anything, and it is just your car out racing a submarine.
Yeah.
That would be exciting.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't. Yeah, just because Need for Speed, what you want in that game is you just want to feel cool.
Yeah.
That's all you want, really, I think, at the end of the day. And making that extreme by doing crazy Fast and Furious like stunts, I think that would totally.
A volcano race.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel's
Like what?
in the game.
Put him in the game.
Like one of them, I think there were like 5 tenets that they focused on in the last Need for Speed, and like one of them was style. Just style. Just
Yeah.
do all style.
Oh, yeah.
Make that like the number one focus.
Yeah.
But talking about that style, that's another tricky thing with Need for Speed, where I think there is some appreciation for the cheesy FMV of Need for Speed, but it's hard to do. It's hard to do camp. And so do you do that? Do you try to play it straight-laced? Do you just say we're crazy? Like what is the message you're trying to send? How do you present yourself when you are out racing that submarine?
Yeah.
Is it fun?
Yeah.
Or is it like, look how cool this is?
It's fun.
Okay.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
It's fun, but you
Especially
also
after
have to
I think you're
stop
right.
it because it's going to launch a nuke or something.
Here's what I have under likely. I think we will see Amy Hennig's Star Wars game from Visceral. I think we will see Respawn's game with Stig Asmussen. I think we'll see both
Wow.
those games. Jones.
Okay.
That name sounds familiar.
Wishful
What is
thinking.
What is that?
Oh, he did God of War 3. He was the director of Stig. And then he was at a Sony Santa Monica for a while, but we never saw what that game turned out to be. I think we'll see more Old Republic things as they normally do. And I think we'll see an indie game as we saw Yarny. What's Yarny's game called?
Unraveled.
Unraveled. And then last year a game called Faye that is still not out.
Right.
That was kind of like a
Faye.
yeah, it was like sonar stuff. Faye was kind of a bummer to me, to be honest with
Don't
you.
remember that at all.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed at how EA often presents indie games.
Sure.
Where they clear this big space. It's prominently featured during their press conferences, and then it just kind of that anticipation fizzles out because they don't manage it. They don't keep that level of attention focused on it over a period of time. Yeah.
And it's crazy, Ben, because when they bring that out, they say, EA, we're proud to say that we have 7 cool games in development. Here's one of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that game did not come out yet. And it didn't, it's like,
I really do not want to see concept art on someone's monitor
Oh man.
during the EA.
No way.
I don't think it can happen
Press
3
conference.
years in a row.
Like, if they can't learn their lesson, oh man.
I can't believe I'm prepared to make a bet against Star Wars, but I'll do it.
Okay, so what's your bet? What are you thinking right now?
I don't know. I don't know.
You
what they
honestly think they won't show those 2 games that I brought up within my likely list?
I would be surprised if they don't show Stig's game. I would not be surprised if they don't show Stig's game. If they do a huge thing on Battlefront 2, and when that's over, here's the name of of Amy Hennig's game. No gameplay, just a cutscene, but it's in engine, and we'll introduce some characters, and now it has a name, and we'll say it's coming out in 2018.
Yeah.
But nothing on
Which will be
the
a
other
lie.
game.
When you're hyping up the story and focusing on the story of Battlefront 2, do the other Star Wars games steal that thunder? Is that a silly concern? Are
That's
they
not a
filling
silly
different?
concern.
Are they
That's
filling
totally
different
fair.
voids?
Yeah, and I mean that's why Disney keeps them very separated year by year. It's
Right.
like, okay, we'll get excited about that next one. Han Solo, we'll talk about it next year. Let's talk
Yeah.
about 8 this year. I get what you're saying, Ben. Absolutely. So, Jones, how do you avoid that overlap? How do you make that trailer so distinct? So we're like, oh, by the end of E3, we don't call it Amy Hennig's Star Wars anymore. We call it,
Yeah.
Raven's Blade.
Star Wars 1414.
Yeah.
I mean, my obvious press conference play, roll into it without telling us what it is.
Right.
Roll into it and show me of a cool sci-fi thing, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, what is? Oh, and then like I see a lightsaber, or it just explodes in some crazy action sequence, which goes right into gameplay, or you have a musical theme come in that I'm like, wait a minute, that's Star Wars. Surprise me with it. Not, ladies and gentlemen, Amy Hennig comes out.
Right.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
I've been a Star Wars fan ever since I was a kid. I remember going and that's what I'm expecting.
So
That's what's gonna
accurate.
happen. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna lead it way in advance. Just immediately following some weird actor coming out as some athlete
That has
from
to
NBA.
stop.
You know what? Yeah.
Two kids from the streets are gonna come
You know what
out
they
and
should do?
and do the dozens at each other and talk about NBA. And we're just like,
You know what they should do is they roll Amy Hennig's Star Wars trailer, and it's like 4 minutes long and it's incredible. At the end of it, there's an explosion, and it cuts wide right on the explosion, and like a whole bunch of like, that fake smoke stuff is coming out of the stage. When it clears, Amy Hennig is standing there, and then she's just like, "It's gonna be dope,"
yeah.
and then she just leaves.
The smoke goes away and she's just gone by the time it's gone.
Yeah.
But that is interesting because I have a list of games here, but I didn't really bring up EA's presentation was real weird last year.
Yeah.
It was
bad.
it was across the world. It was all across the globe. We're in LA.
Peter Moore's not EA anymore, so we don't have to worry about Peter Moore being
Yep.
weird.
Peter Moore has graduated into football
that.
management.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Which is all he talked about during the last press conference, so
Yeah.
that fits.
He was. Yeah, it totally makes sense. You kind of think that maybe he was positioning himself even at that time. Yeah. Do you think they'll do that weird global thing again, like tossing around, like now we're in London?
It's not impressive.
You're
I don't know
saying
who
that
they thought-
because you didn't like what they did last year, which is assuming a lot of things. One, they listen and care. Two, they're going to react based on what they did the year prior. You know, like, oh, we're going to learn a lesson from last year. I think if you asked any of the EA executives what happened last year's E3, none of them would.
We did
remember.
great.
They'd
We
be
had
like,
EA
"What?
Play.
Yeah, oh,
Very
that's
successful.
fantastic.
That was great.
A lot of viewers.
Yeah, EA Play, that was a big deal. Like, no, the press conference. Like, oh, EA Play. And like,
Yeah.
no, specifically that thing, you know. I
You mean
think,
the EA Play kickoff? Yeah, it was great.
It's great.
I think they just go by the book.
It was huge.
But the EA playbook.
We're doing
just
Saturday
not
this
gonna
year.
change it.
It's like.
Saturday's a very fun day.
Jones, I hear you. The thing that we just said about Bungie, that we feel like they're listening, we feel like they care, and that they came out with a humble attitude. You never feel that with any part of EA.
Opposite.
Not even with Faye. You
We
know
did
what I mean?
get
It's like,
Garden Warfare 2 last year, the year before. So like, I wonder if there is that wild card. There is that weird.
2 was the year before.
You know, maybe
think it's
dipping into an old EA franchise or something. There's got to be. There's just a lot of drama going into this. There's got to be some funny. There's got to be. If Need for Speed is serious, like there's got to be something.
Yeah.
Some kind of stick of truth kind of vibe. You know, something that will make people crack up.
yeah, they regularly spend some time on mobile games too, and it happens. You gotta get in there.
I can't believe they made fun of Battlefield with Plants vs Zombies when they did that with, with playing that logo, and then it was
Yeah.
like it was not that. And I'm like, did they just make fun of Battlefield? Like,
that was cool.
very surprised. So like, hopefully something like that.
I feel like there is always this vicious EA conference cycle that I go through every year, where there's enough that I'm interested in and want to see that I'll watch the conference, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to see, and the stuff I do want to see is never presented quite as well as I would have hoped.
Well, it's crazy. EA is a very big publisher.
Yeah.
EA sells a lot of video games. They have very few franchises.
Yeah.
And this year we saw a big Mass Effect game get released, and news shortly thereafter that they're going to scale back on the Mass Effect series. They had more to show. They had Titanfall last year. We do not expect them to show a new Titanfall this year. And so really just, Ben, based off how few games they actually have to show, I think that's where I think they'll show so many Star Wars. Because there's no Mirror's Edge. I do not presume they'll show a new Mirror's Edge. And maybe that's a good transition into the maybes. I don't think they'll show a new Battlefield. I think it's too soon for that,
Agreed.
unless it is like a Battlefield Hardline.
Are they done with DLC? Could they do a huge
Oh.
DLC thing?
I think their DLC plan does not stretch into this,
Okay.
into late this year. And I was thinking maybe like Dead Space, maybe bring back Dead Space. I don't know, panel. Where do we go? What are the maybes? Where could EA possibly go into their barrel?
There's probably some stuff I'm forgetting, but boy, if you were to bring back one thing, that's what I would bet on. Like that's what I would bring back.
Which one?
Would be Dead
Dead
Space.
Space.
Oh, Dead Space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be in this perfect position where people have kind of got over the taste of Dead Space 3 and they're just really fondly remembering Dead Space 1 and 2. And there's
Yeah.
been enough time since the last Dead Space game that is something you announce immediate excitement, immediate anticipation.
You go grittier, darker, more alone, like Dead Space 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolutely do. You make
Yeah.
this horrifying.
Yeah, you make it like you lean on the horror.
There's no action element in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe following like RE7 and
Yeah.
you know
That-
a lot of fun indie horror games, even
Yeah.
like Outlast Little
Yeah.
Nightmares. Like good year for horror.
The
this year,
hunger
so.
the hunger is there.
I could for sure see that.
Jones,
Dead
you
Space
said
4,
you
The
s-
Hunger.
You said Sims? No.
It's not something I'd be excited about.
Okay,
but
you know
I'm
what?
trying to, like you're saying, they don't
I
have
wouldn't be
franchises.
surprised.
So
We
I'm
think
just
about
like,
it. There's gonna be Sims something. There's gonna be a Sims something. You're right. Sims was so huge. It was so weird when they just said we're not doing Sims anymore.
Whoa.
Sorry, we bailed on it. This has got to come back quickly, right? What's up?
What if
Does it?
What if
Yes.
no? What if they do a new Sim City?
Okay.
They announce it like second after whatever Star Wars thing starts it off. Mm-hmm. They announce it, Sim City, whatever, and they say made improvements, blah blah blah, like all kinds of stuff, and it looks good for a Sim City. And then they say the segue into Need for Speed is that people can post their cities online and SimCity includes like a track designer, and then you can drive Need for Speed in the cities from SimCity. It's like Streets of SimCity, but
Yeah.
Need for Speed.
I can see that. I think on the Need for Speed side, that's so boring.
That would suck.
Yeah, just driving along city streets, like, okay.
Part of me feels like SimCity is still scorched earth.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's over.
Still, you think?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's done.
Whereas Dead
Like-
Space, we kind of forgave it at this point.
Yeah.
Just
SimCity.
the uphill battle that you would have to do with SimCity.
I would be shocked if they ever do it again. Really.
And not only that, I feel like the city building area isn't that a very big area, and you've already got City Skylines, which has you're not only competing against your like terrible mishap of the last SimCity, but you're also competing against this generally well received
Yeah.
game.
Well, it's so weird because EA is kind of in this business of making the big games that price out the other game. City Skyline is very successful for its price points.
Yes.
Right.
EA wouldn't want to spend that little amount of money on a game. It's so weird. They wouldn't want to make a game of that scale to get that
Right,
much
but
sales.
I think spending a
Yeah.
bunch more money only makes you look worse.
Yeah. For a city building game.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, it would be really weird to see them make a new Sims.
I think they'd make it on the
Game.
phone.
Sure.
Like, because there's one that's kind of on the phone, but it's bad and no one likes it. I think they might try that again, but I don't even know if they'd put it at E3. I find myself wondering why EA does an EA press conference or an E3 press conference at all.
Oh,
at this
because
point.
people care about those sports games. FIFA is regularly a best-selling game of the year. Madden's regularly a best-selling game of the
But
year.
this is something we talk about every time, where it's
Yeah.
like all of us kind of check out during the sports section, and I'm sure that there are many people who watch that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much that impacts sales. Like, I think FIFA's going to sell well regardless.
Yeah, it is
Like,
weird.
I don't think it needs to be that. You don't need to trot Pele out and have him sit there for 40 minutes. Like, I don't think it makes any dent in their sales. I think they just are going to print money with FIFA, and it's fine.
I think they wouldn't keep doing it if they weren't finding results, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
The reason why I doubt that is because, as somebody who knows nothing about soccer or FIFA,
Yeah.
every single year that I've been doing this, I'm watching the EA press conference, and because we are who we are, we're not that engaged about the FIFA stuff. There's always a slew of comments. No, but this is actually a big deal.
Yeah.
Which makes
yeah.
me think to myself that what they're talking about and how they're presenting it is maybe a little bit more relevant to that audience than I realize.
That's a good point.
One of my goals this year is to try to care, even during the sports parts.
But that's the bathroom
Soccer
break.
seems awesome.
I know, it is. Regularly.
Like, we all get up.
Oh, and lastly, for maybe I had Dragon Age. Do we think we might see a Dragon Age game get announced?
Maybe a teaser.
Yeah, I think it's about time for that to come back.
Yeah.
And I think you gotta make it look like The Witcher as much as you can.
Oh, yeah.
I think you just have to. I think that's what your goal has to be in your marketing. Mm-hmm. We're pretty close to The Witcher this time.
Did
is what I would do.
Inquisition sell well? I know it won a bunch
did.
of awards for some reason, but
Yes.
and it sold well.
And it sold well, yeah. I think it sold better than Mass Effect did.
And I
not care
regret
for
not
that.
playing it.
I'm sorry, you
Surprise.
regret not playing it?
I played 1 and 2 multiple times.
Yep.
You
all the way
didn't
through.
miss
and
much.
was just like, yeah.
The general
Just
consensus,
came out
Jones,
at
is
the
you didn't
wrong
miss
time.
much.
Yeah.
I played
Which one
that
were we
one
talking about?
first. I played
Inquisition.
Inquisition first, and it's like, oh.
Oh boy, I played it for like 10, 15 hours, and then I was just like,
I think that's where
I'm
was.
done with this.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah,
This is a bunch of creepy looking fantasy people.
yeah, none of it. Yeah,
Just
it's a
doing
bummer.
creepy
I was
fantasy
excited
things.
for that one.
Inquisition is a game that I remember really enjoying when I first played through it, but it's in the strange position of like having no desire to return to it. Like when I think of Dragon Age Origin, like do you have a game that you absolutely have no time to go back to, but you wish you could?
Yes.
I feel that way about Dragon Age Origins. I don't feel that way about
About
Dragon Age
Inquisition.
Inquisition.
I want to play Dragon's Dogma almost like weekly. But
Yes.
I just
Yes.
don't ever
Daily,
you know?
yes.
I'm like not a joke. This is not hyperbolic. Like probably honest guess. Like every 2 or 3 weeks, there's just like a moment in every day where I'm just like, man, Dragon's Dogma though.
Yeah. So I think with Dragon Age, you could sell this. I truly think you could sell this today. I think you'd like Dragon's Dogma. I think you can show them
Game
climbing.
of Thrones is gearing
climbing
up
that
for the
yeah,
big
yeah.
finale.
But- yeah.
There's a lot of fantasy dragon talk.
It
Yeah.
sort of feels like the BioWare name has
Sullied.
no currency at all anymore.
Is less and less for sure.
Like 100%. Like it's almost like a stain. I think. Mm-hmm. I wonder.
And it is crazy because really not that long ago, all you had to do was flash that name on
Yep.
screen.
Knights of
And
the Old Republic. Exactly.
Was it just
Man, that's crazy
Andromeda?
to see.
What happened?
not.
only
It's not just
Andromeda?
that. It is.
It was Inquisition that also hurt it big
Inquisition.
time.
I would argue
Falter,
Dragon Age 2,
Dragon
Sure.
Age 2.
especially.
The
Even Mass
MMOs.
Effect 3.
Yeah.
Sure, Mass Effect 3 hurt it
It's
as well.
been just a steady decline of like not abysmal failures, but disappointments.
The community is also kind of toxic. We had a comment in community comments recently from a Mass Effect fan that was like, I can't win with this franchise. Every time a new Mass Effect comes out, the whole community just gets all pissed at each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's rough.
unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is unfortunate.
And this was in future news a couple of weeks ago. BioWare's working on a whole other IP beyond these two that we just talked about. We don't know about it yet.
Yay.
I don't expect it to see it at E3, but it might happen. We might see some monitors of people working on it.
Oh God.
That's the best thing for them to be doing. Like,
Something new?
Yeah, we talked about this baggage with Dragon Age. We talked
Yeah.
about this baggage with Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Yes, just
And
Start
shake
with
it
a clean
up.
slate.
Like,
Yeah.
get away from the dialogue trees thing for a second. Like, try something else.
Yeah.
Don't do faces. Don't do lip sync. Don't do talking.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Hold
They
on.
clearly can't.
They can do it.
Oh,
They can do
Mass
it.
Effect 2 was amazing. I love Mass Effect 2 so much.
It's a really cool game.
Oh,
I like many BioWare games.
Mass Effect 1 I even liked.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 was great.
Very early the next day, talking about Sunday, June 11th, we're going to have a Microsoft press conference on a Sunday. Ooh-wee. Yeah.
What time?
2 p.m. Pacific
Okay.
time.
That's our first press conference that day?
Yeah.
All right.
Sleeping
you said
in.
very
Sleeping in on
early.
Sunday.
Oh, why that is very early is Microsoft has
Oh.
traditionally been Monday.
Yeah. Early in the week. I thought you meant early in the day.
Yeah, so Microsoft
Yeah,
this year
that's
decided to
weird.
go to Sunday.
And no one else is on Sunday?
No.
No Bethesda?
After this is Bethesda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is the press conference I, in a way, am the most excited for.
Me too.
Let's just
The
say
press conference I'm
upfront
most
why.
anticipating.
Yes.
Yeah, why?
yeah.
Why's that?
Because it feels like the wild card.
Yeah. It feels like something really big could happen.
Right.
Yes.
And
Has to.
I will add the word desperate onto the word big, because
Something desperately big.
it's kind of like we're doing now, with all of the press conferences you have, like, well, here's what we know. It's like the three categories. Here's what we know is going to be here. Here's what we think is going to be there. Here's what might be there. Fun little, throw out Shenmue things. And
we know Scorpio's going to be there.
we do, yes. They're
Yeah.
gonna be talking about hardware a lot. But
They promised
to
it,
me,
which
with Microsoft, more than
I'm
any
really
other company going into the show, there's just this huge hole that, like, there were titles I was excited about that have all been canceled and pulled out of it, and there were things that were maybe waiting to have canceled or not sure. There was like Phantom Dust was like, oh, it's coming back. No, it's not. Like, there's just a lot of uncertainty, and it seems like this vacuum that will set up a big announcement, that will set up them coming out and being like, okay, we're super excited about this console. We got a bunch of games we think are going to run the best on it. I just don't know what any of that could be. I'm starting to think about stuff like Borderlands. To me, seems like a Borderlands 3 seems like an easy
That's a
Microsoft grab.
Good pick,
That,
John.
like
That is
that
really-
the first time we see
Yeah.
Borderlands 3, it's gonna be at that press conference. It's gonna be exclusive
sure.
to the Xbox. It's
let's
gonna
not go
run
that
better
far.
on Scorpio,
That'd
maybe
be-
for like a year or something.
Borderlands
or-
3 as an exclusive would be actually a huge lockdown. I would say better than or larger than Tomb Raider. We make fun of Borderlands, but that's a hugely
Yes.
successful series actually.
Yeah.
And it'd be at home on Scorpio, I think.
Oh boy.
I didn't mean that as an insult.
That was such a slight. And I know that doesn't sound like a slight. It's like a nice. What do you mean
Yeah.
it would be at home on Scorpio?
I don't know. I wouldn't miss it.
Oh my god.
Well, now it's definitely a slight.
JK. JK.
Well, I mean,
right.
Xbox has always had attitude. It's called the Xbox.
Yeah,
It's like
the
Microsoft has always
Xbox
been a
is the
little
Mountain
edgy.
Dew of consoles.
You look at
know.
the Dragon game, which is now not a thing
JK.
anymore. Hello,
Scalebound.
Scalebound had attitude. He's got the headphones
had the
on.
headphones on.
like-
He looked like an idiot.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Because you look at like PlayStation. You look at the opposite. It's like Kratos has got attitude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sony's got dumb stuff too.
Days Gone. I got attitude.
God, I hate
I
Days
just
Gone.
ride my
Oh, Days
motorcycle.
Gone.
It's like oh.
If they show Days Gone at Sony, I'm gonna be like snooze fest. Come on, get
Every
out
video
of here.
game
Oh.
console
I would-
is the Mountain Dew.
Days
I
Gone
would
is
love
garbage.
thunderously
Oh, I love Days
applause an announcement like Borderlands 3.
That'd be great.
That is
Yeah.
that is just exactly the kind of thing that they need. It has that wide appeal. It's an anticipated sequel. It's like them getting out there and saying, "We've got what you want," and that's exactly the kind of message that they need to send. But unlike what makes the Microsoft conference so interesting to me is it's not just, all right, I'm waiting for you to impress me. I'm waiting for these inevitable big announcements. Why I'm so excited is it could swing very hard the other way as well.
Yeah.
Like, you think about the position Microsoft is in, nothing is a guarantee. And that uncertainty, the pendulum being able to swing either way is what makes it so exciting.
Yes.
Like this
High stakes.
I cannot imagine any reality in which we get done watching the Microsoft press conference and go, it's okay. It's either going to be, wow, they're back. Not that they're back. That's a bad way of phrasing it, but they're bringing the heat. They're reinvigorated. Or, wow, that was a colossal failure. I don't care about the Scorpio at all. I don't need this thing. Mm-hmm. Like that, because that's really, you can boil down this conference to that.
Scorpio.
The Scorpio.
Yes.
Like them presenting it as, you need this, or wouldn't this be super nice to have?
And to
so-
me, like, oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, to me, like, PlayStation Plus, Scorpio, like, this weird mid-generation console bump is not interesting to me.
PlayStation
Like,
4 Pro.
what did I say?
PlayStation Plus.
Oh, PlayStation 4 Pro. Neither of them are interesting because it's like, yeah, okay, it's a power boost, whatever. But if you don't have amazing games to play on it, it does not matter.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, when I think of this presentation, when I think of this press conference, it's weird, Ben, because they're using Scorpio as a selling point. When you go to the page for E3 2017,
Right.
you see that Scorpio chip that says 4K.
in 20 days.
But I almost think it really won't be a huge component of this press conference, and I think it's because of the PlayStation 4 Pro. I think with Scorpio, you have to come in realistically knowing how many consoles you're going to sell this fall, which is, I think, fewer than 1 million. And so you have to say, okay, we can't make this entire thing about Scorpio. We have to make this entire thing about Xbox. And that's kind of like where I would program this thing.
I really disagree with that. And
Yeah.
I disagree with that because of how they presented the Scorpio originally.
right.
Which was the end of last year's press conference.
They
It was
think
the
it's a
final
huge
reveal.
Yes.
deal.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is I don't even necessarily think it, if you really look at it, it has to be a big deal. I think this is totally a battle of perception. If they can convince people on this message of this is technically the most powerful console and that matters, they've won. Mm-hmm.
Todd
And
Howard.
I think there is this needle that you can thread where you do technically have the most powerful console, and the language that they're using and the images that you're flashing on screen make that exciting, while also being like, don't worry, we're still supporting PC, we're still supporting the original Xbox One. Like, if you can thread this needle of, we are the biggest and best, and we also have the broadest umbrella, I think that's a good message to get behind. And I think it's exactly the one that they need. I don't know. I actually don't know if software by itself is enough at this point to generate the level of excitement that they want.
Because that is the Sony strategy. The Sony strategy is, we got all these games, and also PS4 Pro is pretty good.
Right.
That's what their strategy is. They're like,
Right.
and also you could get that if you want it. And you're saying that Xbox can't afford to do that because they can't rest on the games.
I think the opposite of that. I mean, I think that the PlayStation conference last year changed the game, or hopefully should have, because they realized that this isn't a stockholder meeting. This isn't
They're putting on a show.
It's a show.
Yeah, absolutely,
it's a big trailer.
Yeah.
The whole thing is an action-packed, tightly programmed 1-hour trailer for excitement, for what you've got, what you can play.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got anyone talking for more than a minute, or if you've brung on some like weird old celebrity, you're doing it wrong. And like, I am terrified of the days, like, if they didn't learn their lesson about back when everybody was talking about services and like, oh, you've got Netflix on here, oh, you've got PlayStation View on here, oh, you can run your cable in here. Like, remember when the Xbox One was announced and it was like a weird thing for like running your TV cable and all that, and it's like they barely talked about games. Like, if they don't learn their lesson about that, about what E3 is for, like, they could talk, like, I'm afraid they're going to talk about the hardware and how many petaflops or whatever this thing has for way too long.
I don't think they will because of the Digital Foundry thing. I think that was
I hope
cutting that
not,
off
yeah.
ahead of time. I think they've saved themselves some time by releasing all of their technical data.
I
What's up?
want to modify my point just a little bit.
Sure.
Because to say that because I do think games are the most important thing, and we've said on this very podcast before that we want whatever games that they have to blow us away to excite us. I think that's still true, but I think back to the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation 3 absolutely underwent a transformation. The first few years of the PlayStation 3 were laughable. They it seemed like an arrogant company that was releasing bad, weird, gimmicky games, and
the console itself was too expensive. The games ran worse on it. It was just in trouble.
Right. This is not a one-on-one comparison, but I think there are things to learn about this because that narrative changed over time. They had the software. I think especially like right around Uncharted 2, it was like, oh man, the PS3 image feels like it's changing. PlayStation Plus, the things that they're offering, it feels like they're changing. But I think right along with that, they had the PS3 Slim. And I actually think that new hardware, even though this isn't just a re-release, even though this isn't just a downscaled version, that new hardware is very, very important because if you're trying to take that next step, if you're trying to rebrand yourself, having a physical manifestation of that really works mental wonders.
Ben, I think that's a wonderful point.
If you have this company that keeps saying we're changing, we're doing all this new stuff, and then you go and you see the same boxes that you've been seeing for years.
Yeah.
You don't believe it.
Yeah,
if you go in to your Best Buy or Walmart or Target and you're like, holy cow, this Xbox One section feels brand new. It feels fresh.
Yeah.
You're way more ready to buy into that narrative.
Cool.
That's an amazing point.
Yep.
Yeah. I
mean,
like
and
they,
One
can-
S-
they,
One
they
S
can
did
make it
very
feel
well.
like the Scorpio is a new console entirely.
They almost did that with the 1S.
Yeah.
One S had a lot of hype just for the marginal improvements it did have, but it was white.
Right.
It was white. Well, the Xbox One was black, and I think that's enough of a huge. That's like enough of like, whoa, this is a new thing.
Right,
Rebrand.
and
Yeah.
it's hilarious because this is just flimsy anecdotal evidence, but I remember people saying like they would have customers come in and be like, "Oh man, I've got to get the like." They thought the Xbox One S was more powerful than it actually was, just
Yes.
because it was a new box.
Yeah, I
Well,
totally
because
buy
they
it.
kept saying things like the only one with true 4K or whatever.
Right.
Like weird, like shady stuff.
Jones, how much of the presentation do you devote to Scorpio? Let's say we got an hour and a half.
Little bit at the end before you do the big thing, and a quick announcement at the beginning.
So you're on the other side. You're on the just don't make this a big thing.
I mean,
I think
obviously
what people are
it's a big
expecting
thing.
is Scorpio the entire time. I think that's really the large perception of what this will be
what
like.
on earth do you talk about? Like, I need to
think-
know. You need to show me these games. I just have a quick question. Is Death Stranding exclusive to PS4?
Yeah, it will launch exclusively on PS4.
Okay, but it is coming to other consoles.
Yes.
But like as far as I'm concerned, that's a PS4 game.
Yeah.
So there are other games out there that are not necessarily going to be exclusive to Xbox that you might not even have any kind of exclusivity on. But like, you got to announce something exciting multi-platform at your conference. It has nothing to do with Xbox, but it's just, oh
do you mean
wow, do you
multi-platform?
remember that from Xbox? Like, do you remember that from that press conference? I don't know. I don't know what that game. But like they.
Oh, but you mean something like Death Stranding, where it's like, hey, this is not
Yeah.
necessarily an exclusive, but we get to announce it right here.
So
on
now
our
I'm
stage.
thinking, oh wow, that's a really exciting game. I'm gonna choose to play that on the
Something
Scorpio.
from
Not
Sega,
have to play that on
something
Scorpio
from
because it's
Capcom or
exclusive.
Konami, somebody who doesn't have their own press conference. Yeah, I could see
That
that.
clearly made we decided we're gonna kind of piggyback off the excitement of this new console,
Yeah.
and we're going to pick the Microsoft press conference to announce our brand new game.
So you know what I think is
something
actually
from Square, something from a company that does not have their own. I was gonna say Konami, but that's a
Maybe I'm not
bad
giving us enough credit,
Yeah.
but man, I think we could talk for a long time about how smart that Sony partnership with Destiny was.
Oh,
yeah. I
Like-
thought it was so dumb at the time. They came out and said exclusive content, and I
Right.
made fun of them for it so much.
Right. Right,
And
and
it
we
paid off.
did. We would make fun of it because it's like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
oh, this is the inevitable Destiny part. But just that kind of game, that big, like constantly associating it with your console.
Oh, it's crazy.
Oh, we're gonna
Very
see
smart.
Destiny 2 on this thing like crazy. Something else I expect
Well, no,
to see.
on Sony. Sony's got that thing locked down.
Oh, do they have that
They
locked
got
down?
Destiny
and
locked down.
like
They
last
have
year at the
War-
Microsoft press conference, I saw Final Fantasy 15 look the worst I've ever seen it look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. Like that was your press conference last year.
Right, yeah.
You showed a Titan demo that I couldn't even understand what I was watching. So it's like it's
Yeah.
you have to have demos that are unique, that it's not just like, okay, now see it played with us.
Sea of
Where it's
Thieves
like
was last
you
year.
will not see anyone else playing this game
what I expect to
on
see
any
a
other
lot
console
of
at
is
E3 this year.
in maybe in every single gameplay, some kind of language in the corner it'll just go running on Scorpio on like
Sure.
everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think big time that everything will be demoed.
Sea
on
of Thieves is
Scorpio.
my most anticipated of the games that are announced. I think Sea of Thieves is my most anticipated game of this
Oh, yeah.
E3
I got it in my likely column. I think we will likely see a lot of Sea of Thieves in this
And
presentation.
for sure. Yeah.
And as Ben said, it'll get delayed out of the year.
how they presented it last year was great. Just watching people interact
That
with
really
it,
funny
enjoying
video?
it.
Yeah,
like
oh my God.
it made it feel so
I heard a lot of negativity.
what's so
I
weird,
saw
yeah.
a lot of people commenting. They're just like, I hate these people, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I love that vibe.
That was
Yeah.
great.
I
I
do too.
need to see
I really
this
do.
game played this way to understand.
And if you're
That
one of those
game looks
people,
so much fun.
if you're watching this and you're thinking like that was so lame, here's how I would defend it: is it was showing the game being played, and that was
Right.
such a strong
People say it's
demonstration of it.
fake. There's like, oh, those people are paid. They're not,
They
I'm
were
like,
paid, but they were not fake people.
They were paid to
that-
play the game for
Yeah.
3 hours, and then
Yeah.
they edited it down into a 5-minute thing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Or however many minutes it was.
Yeah, right. They were, they were emphasizing the fun they were having a little bit.
Yeah.
but-
And they were like screwing up. Like their ship
Yeah.
was sinking. They had
Right.
failed.
They kept screwing
You were in a
up.
fail state right now, and
Yeah.
this is the most exciting part of the gameplay video.
Yes.
Honestly, I thought that was
thought
a
it was
very
great.
unique demonstration. I really liked that.
Sea of Thieves is going to be awesome.
I expect to see a lot of Middle Earth Shadow of War because so
Ugh.
far that has been the only Scorpio announced game, right?
Okay.
And so I think we're gonna see a ton of that.
Not enough. It's not good enough.
Okay, all right.
But
It'll be fun. It'll be good, but it's not good enough.
yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think that is a game that has a decent amount of excitement around it that could be really good and could be really exciting to watch. But it's also of course, like, of
Right,
course they're
yeah.
making.
It's like, sure, why not?
Yeah. What a weird position to be in.
The thing is, like, something that would blow us away, we don't know about yet. Like you were saying, they have to unveil something, and we have to go, whoa,
But thinking about Killer Instinct, like that was a fun announcement. That was
Yes.
something that had been rumored that I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
And they botched it. They've completely fumbled it. It was like
What do you mean by
they,
that?
they rushed right into it. It literally, like, the video was
yeah.
like, "Yeah, Killer Instinct,"
Oh,
and
you
you were like,
mean the
Yeah.
announcement
so
itself.
it's
It was really
so
short
that's a
and
thing.
weird.
Okay, they like had
Yeah.
no build up, no tease, no nothing.
I don't
And
think
then
they knew
this-
what they had when they
And then
announced
this
that.
guy came
Yeah.
out and was just like berating this woman who he's like beating the crap
Oh,
out of
I
while playing
forgot
it.
about
Right.
that.
You know what I mean? So like,
And he was like, "Munch my butt." It's like, hey, this is really uncomfortable, man.
Yeah.
He didn't say "munch my butt" literally, but I know.
but like, it was like Sea of Thieves, authentic, fun.
Right.
Speaks to the fun of the experience. Those two people on stage, bad, fake,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
not a good vibe.
It's-
so you look at something that was that like. Before that press conference, we would have said Killer Instinct. Oh, that's really exciting. That could, if that's true, that could be a really fun thing for them. And it was a fun announcement. They just screwed it up. So I think it's also important. It's important what is at the Microsoft press conference. I think it's also important specifically how they show it, the attitude that they like to have. Because I think about a montage. You think about a PlayStation montage. I get the vibe that games are fun. We like the fact that you like Sony. We like the fact that we have these games. We think these games are really great. Come check out these games. A Microsoft montage specifically puts the language in there that's like, we got the best games.
Right.
You're like, just show them. What are you doing? But it always has an attitude. And if the more attitude you just pour on like maple syrup, where it's just like, these games are going to run the best on Scorpio. It's like, shut up. I'm not going to buy one. I'm just not. Like, and I think it's like those kind of messaging caters towards a specific type of, I'm not saying I'm not going to buy one. I'm just saying
Yeah.
what if I'm not? Then I'm totally excluded from this announcement. It's just
Yeah.
like, just be more fun and more inclusive. And just to stop it with the attitude.
Boy, I agree with all of that.
that was
Yeah.
interesting, Jones.
It's very true.
But it's funny because you talk about that sort of off-base announcement of Killer Instinct, because I think you could easily make an argument that Killer Instinct is one of the biggest successes of the Xbox One so far.
Yeah.
Like, not only did it bring back a franchise that a lot of people were clamoring for, it treated it with a level of respect and a commitment to that game that I think is extremely commendable. Like, they've really built a pretty fascinating community with Killer Instinct. Like, it's a huge success story, and we just need more of those.
Even crazier, when Double Helix left,
Right.
Iron Galaxy popped in and somehow that still worked.
Right.
I can't believe that game is still being played. Like, that's a true success story.
But they didn't abandon it. They gave it the time and the attention that it needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
And they found like good ways of making it interesting again and exciting beyond just people who are into Killer Instinct. Here's General Ram. Here's the Arbiter. All of that stuff. I think went a long way. It was handled very, very, very well.
Yeah, I have more for a promised. State of Decay 2 is such an interesting game to me because it's
Yeah.
such an uninteresting game to me.
Oh, I'm
However,
super hyped.
But this is a big deal. Okay, thank you, Jones. I'm glad you're super hyped.
Because I did not like the first. I really wanted to like the first State of Decay and was extremely frustrated playing it.
Yeah.
And so I'm very much. I was always looking for that excuse to go back. To
Remind
like,
me
okay, it got remastered and
a
okay,
zombie
they
game.
updated and added
Yeah.
some stuff.
So Ben, you seem hyped on this too.
I am hyped on this.
What's there about State of Decay to be excited
really
about?
liked State of Decay.
You and I bickered about it. I came into work at GT and was like, and Ben
You
was
two
like,
used to
oh, you
bicker
should
about
really
State
give
of
it a chance.
Decay.
I
That's so funny to me.
We even did a fun stream about it back at GT.
Where the both of you played it?
I
yeah.
was not a part of that stream. I don't
No,
think.
you were.
I was?
It's okay.
Oh wow.
No, you were. Yeah, it was you and me.
And Jones was so sure. No, I'm very sure I was not there.
It's okay because Ben and Jones streams weren't common at all, and so it was nice.
Jones has no memory of it.
No,
It's
no
fine.
memory of it.
It's good.
That's just one.
Okay,
that
so,
I'll have to hold on to.
State of Decay 2 is what I think. This is my perception of it. It's kind of an open world zombie game.
Right.
What should I be excited about?
So yes, it is an open world zombie game, and it has a lot of the open world zombie game things that you would expect. There are a lot of decisions you can make. People can die, but I think what is cool about State of Decay is they did a little bit of a better job of inserting characters. Like these people don't just feel like, you know, survival tools. They have personalities. They have things to latch onto. It was a little bit less cumbersome than other survival. In my opinion, it was less cumbersome than other survival horrors games that you would, or zombie games that you would find on the PC. Like it was a game that I think was easy to get into and had a lot of flexibility, but was easier, like I said, to sort of latch onto the characters and the overall storyline. It felt like there was more of a world there than those types of games would usually present. And because of that, what I think you do with State of Decay 2 is there is no way that you can just have a trailer of zombies running around biting people that I think would be any interesting or exciting
It's not
whatsoever.
possible.
Like
Yeah.
that well is dry. But
Yeah.
what you can do is show it off. Show those exciting moments. Make it seem like, hey, this demo, we don't know exactly what's gonna happen. We're gonna go and we're gonna make decisions on the fly. Like that could be really interesting to watch.
Yeah. And I think they kind of tried to do that with Days Gone last year. And that's just like, we're just going to go play. That one was, to me, even at that point, pretty scripted.
Right.
I saw it privately and play it out a different way, but still it was the way that it was managed. I like the way that you're talking about it, Ben, of just go nuts.
Right.
Here's
right.
our world, go nuts in this. That's
Right.
a cool demo to have.
But having just people play it and seeing their reactions and not knowing, like it's much different if you have a developer where it's like, okay, I know all of the ins and outs of this game. Well, if you know all of the ins and outs of this game, it's not really that exciting if you don't know what's going to happen, because you can probably reasonably account for like the net of things that could happen.
Jones, what do you do with this game, with this presentation, where people are talking about it after E3, where it's the week after and we say, man, State of Decay 2 though, what do you need to show to make that happen?
I agree with Ben. Like I don't know.
It's people playing the game.
It's tough because that's a really good point, Ben. Is that like the very
trailer
difficult-
can't do it.
It's an extremely difficult game to sell, and here I am skeptical, wanting to see the goods, and I couldn't even tell you what those goods are. I don't. Yeah. Because to me, it's really like the issues that I had with the first game are really nitpicky stuff, and nitpicky doesn't sell. You know, like I ran out of weapons. I would like, you know, it's like you go into houses and pick stuff, and like I got to a point in State of Decay, I had no weapons in my inventory, and was like, go into that house and find more. It's like there's 5 zombies in there. I can't. I was like, oh well, that game was fun. I cannot progress more in this game. So it's like them being like, that won't happen. Yeah, obviously not a sell. And yeah, CG something. I think a demo. I think a Sea of Thieves. You know, just kind of showing.
People yelling,
and maybe like difficulty too, maybe kind of taking a little bit of the Souls bent, where like you pitch the beginning of the trailer that like, here's what the players you're looking at are trying to do.
Sure.
Like they're trying to go and rescue this person at this farm, and you just see a bunch of people just get destroyed trying to do it because of all of these random things that can happen in the world. There was like these one players tried to do it, there was a lightning storm. These one players tried to do it, there was a stampede of like cows, you know, because that happens because there's, you know, wild animals are just kind of roaming around. You know, just all these different variables of all the different crazy things could go wrong, and then finally you see one of the groups that actually pulled it off in the big victory that they do at the end.
Yeah.
I think there's another way that is way too optimistic, but I believe that we're starting to see more of it, and I want to stress how effective I believe that it is. If you were to get somebody out there on stage and they're like, hey, you know, this is the part where we present State of Decay 2. I realize that it's probably hard to get people excited for a zombie game, and then you do a short explanation of what it is and why it's cool, and you can play it right now because we believe that this game speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Then suddenly I believe like, oh man, there's something here.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic, because then you have people going on Twitch and you have people watching those players play it live, and they're seeing all of those crazy things happen. And because you have all of those different channels, that's way more effective than anything you could ever put in a tiny little press conference.
Yes.
Totally.
What's the Underground game called? PlayerUnknown's Underground?
Yeah, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds. Get that going.
That
You
game.
want that? Yeah. That game was sold by
That
Twitch.
game is one of the biggest success stories of 2017, and
Yeah.
it was sold by Twitch, like, exclusively.
Yeah.
Game's fun too.
Yeah, just get whatever that game has going.
Yeah.
Here's a game that I think this is gonna fly in the face of Jones's strategy. Ian, tell me if this is wrong. I think we're gonna see a new Forza this year. Forza. We always see a new Forza. It is actually time for a numbered Forza, a serious Forza. I think all you have to do with this is show how much better it looks than the new Gran Turismo game.
Yeah.
Just direct comparison. Just, I mean, obviously you can't
can't
show
show
Gran
it.
Turismo,
Yeah.
but you can come in and say, this is the best looking racing game. There will be no racing game that looks better than this one.
I think
yeah.
you show a trailer, and if you dwell on it longer than that, you're wasting everyone's time.
Oh, for Forza, you don't need a demo of it.
You don't need someone talking. You don't need to show it.
I don't know. Here's the thing, though, Ian. I have memories of the Kinect era of the Xbox 360. I hated this thing. But I have memories of them walking around the cars and flipping open the doors and how cool that seemed and how good. Like, I think you can do some cool stuff with a Forza demo beyond just the trailer, don't you?
Yeah, it's the showing and not the telling is basically what I'm talking about.
Right,
Because you were
yeah.
like, when I got the vibe when you asked, was like, how much are they going to talk about the Scorpio?
Yeah,
And it's
don't
like,
talk
talking
about
about
it.
the Scorpio does nothing. Even if like the head of every single Forza game that has ever come out, I think I can picture this guy in my head, like when they like bring the like Lamborghini in and
Yeah.
he comes
Oh,
walking
yeah,
and explains it.
if they do
But
stuff
that
like
guy,
that, yeah.
you know, like if I hear that guy being like, when I first got a hands on the Scorpio and saw how Forza would run, I got really excited. Like, this is pissing me off. This is actually, I know you're thinking it might kind of, I'd be lukewarm or maybe a little bit excited. I'm going down. Like, I'm not, this is bad. But if you maybe even do like a history piece, just kind of like, hey, this franchise started on the Xbox. And then here's what we looked on 360. We made these improvements.
Yeah.
Here's what it looks like
Video,
on Scorpio.
yeah.
Whoa, you know,
This
especially
press
the
conference-
exclusive system. Like,
This press conference needs to feel like it was directed by Neil Marshall. Like, it needs to
Tell me
like
what that means as somebody who does
like
not even know who Neil
episode
Marshall
9
is.
of any season of Game of Thrones. Like the important episode where stuff happens.
Okay.
Like the action one. Like, if there's any lull at all of like, when I saw how this thing ran on the Scorpio, it really blew my mind. It's got so many petaflops. It's just, oh my god, I can't wait for you to see it. But I'm gonna talk for another 3 minutes. Like, no,
So on this, Ian,
especially about a car game.
here's what I think this is another prediction. This is, I think, what's going to be another component of this. I do not think there is a new Halo game to be shown at E3 this year. However, I do think Halo will have a segment of this press conference. I think we'll have to have someone come out and speak to what Halo is. And I don't know what will be shown, but I think it's that moment. I think it's what you're just talking about.
Yeah.
With Scorpio, Halo is going to run better than ever. It will.
If there's any moment like that, Microsoft didn't learn their lesson.
Yeah, and I honestly think the right thing to do
Halo
is,
Wars 2 Game of the Year edition.
yeah, I think the right
the
thing to do
brand
with
new
is
mission.
like don't bring Halo. Let Halo be dormant because it'll be huge.
I
The
would
next
not.
one.
Yeah.
I would not miss it this year.
But I think you could, like, it's the perfect opportunity for a teaser, where you just give a little bit.
Yeah.
At the very end.
Think about the Halo 4 one. Wasn't that the one where the dude came out of the sand? And,
Oh, yeah.
and
But I
blew-
remember
and
that
blew
being
Poncho
really
Chief.
well received.
It was, but
Poncho Chief.
it was so irrelevant by the actual time the game came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tease-
that's true. But
yeah.
that's not what I like.
You're right, that's not what E3 is about. You're
right.
right.
Just making people
You
excited.
tease,
Yeah.
you do a game where it's like way crazy in the future, everything's gone to shit, and you play as Cortana, and like you're in some kind of psycho AI, like network. That
And
could
your
be
goal is to
crazy.
kiss the chief.
And your goal is just to become a real girl so you could be in love with Chief. But then you realize he's been dead for 42,000 years.
Yeah. Jokes
Credits.
aside, Ben, I think you're right. I think that trailer did generate genuine interest, and I
Right.
think it's one of those things where it just looks visually distinct. It's
Yeah.
Master Chief in a poncho. I've never seen that before. He's on the run. He's in the desert.
Look at those cloth physics.
I've never seen a weird Guardian. Well, I don't think those things turned out to be the Guardians, but it was
I
called
do
Halo
think
5
I do
Guardians.
think
that's why I assumed they were.
Forza if they show weather simulation, like rain and tires and that kind of stuff, that could be cool.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to showcase the Scorpio hardware too.
You talked about it just looking better than the new Gran Turismo, and I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Just say like, yep, we're the best one. But how perceptible is looking better at a racing game these days?
It's not.
Like,
that's why
it's
I
difficult.
think, as opposed to Jones, I think you should absolutely say this is the best, because I don't think you can show it.
Sure,
I think you got to come out right. This is the best.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm thinking about
No
like,
game. You have to literally say no game will look better than this in the racing genre.
and I'm thinking about people like Bloodworth or people who follow Forza, and I think you know who your audience is and you aim stuff at them. So you just show things that to them would be like, whoa, like good rain simulation. I hear Blood talk about that all the time. And
Loves
like
that
how the
rain
road changes the way it feels. You know, you just show that kind of stuff, and that's really going to hit home for the people who are into this already.
Yeah.
And it'll just look really good for people who aren't already into the simulation.
And I think you really do. I think you're on the marketing team for this. Sorry to go back to Forza after we went through Halo, but I think this is so simple, because you can look at what people are criticizing Gran Turismo Sport for right now. You show the crowds, you show your landscapes, you show everything that Gran Turismo is lacking in, you attack.
Yeah.
You show how many tracks you have. You
say-
show how many different cars you have.
And you say, hey, this game's actually going to come out.
Yeah, you make this a hit piece on Gran Turismo
Yeah.
Sport.
It is exactly how Sony sold the PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything they're not, we are.
Yep.
Yeah. I think you do that with Forza. There's a couple other games I want to talk about. Crackdown 3 I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Because that game's supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out for this year for a while, like many years.
The last like 4 years?
Yeah. Well,
2?
I think it was a 2016 game. It was supposed to come out in 2016. It hasn't. And what was weird is the way it was delayed. It was just like, okay, well, 2016, and also it's going to be multiplayer only at first, and then story eventually, and then just the current version of Crackdown 3 is supposed to be all versions in one, but we still don't have a release date. We still have not seen much of this game.
Shadow
We saw
drop
it
the
at
hell out
Gamescom.
of that thing.
Oh, that's absolutely what you do.
I mean,
Yeah, that's cool.
you know,
Shadow drop
like
it.
like a 1 month away release date would be super hot, but like at the very least, just some kind of demo. Let me play this finally. Come
Yeah.
on.
You know what, Jones? I think you're right
Get
about
the
that.
get the people buzzing about it. Get them streaming and doing crazy things and seeing what the engine can do.
If we talk about the tiers of game announcements, of games, of status, I don't think Crackdown 3 is actually that high, status-wise.
No.
And I think a Shadow Drop is good for that tier, of where the tier it is.
It's about all you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much else you can do with that brand at this point.
Yeah.
Do we know when the Scorpio is coming out? Sorry.
We don't. We
Okay.
know it is this year, fall of this year.
I would if they don't shadow drop it right then, or say it comes out in a month, I would say it's like a Scorpio launch title.
Yeah.
For sure.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I think that this has the potential to be a very cool demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
Crackdown 3 will not have a cool trailer. I don't think anyone watched that
Yeah,
CG trailer.
I don't care what the story is.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
felt-
care. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Who I'm going after, what characters there are. I want
Yep.
to see this game played.
we want to see the city
We don't care
destruction.
about your son or your wife or whatever.
Yeah. We've never seen it. We've never seen
It's
the
the partner, your partner that double crossed you and is now
Yeah.
running the drug trade.
Yeah.
If you go back to the demo they had at Gamescom for Crackdown 3, it's still kind of impressive. It is actually kind of cool to see, and it just to see that full screen, to see that demoed, to say we've been actually working on this whole time. We have it. It's good. It's here. Scorpio helps it out. It helps it work, but
Were
look,
they-
it's on your Xbox One as well.
Were they still talking about like, oh, the buildings fall down because of the cloud? Were they
Yes.
still
Yeah.
harping on that?
That was the demo as of Gamescom 2 years ago.
That's the Microsoft that I don't want to see this time. I don't want them to be all about weird tech stuff. Just
the
show us
Scorpio
good
is
games.
weird tech stuff.
No, I know. That's why I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Like, I think you mention it. You say, yeah, this runs really great on the Scorpio. Like, show the little thing. The Scorpio makes this look great, whatever. But like, oh my God, don't harp on it. They're going to.
Here's the last thing I want to talk about is this hint, the murmurs that Microsoft has that they have something big to show. The way that the big people within Xbox have been speaking, Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg, they say they have something. They say they really have something to show off, and I do expect a new IP. I expect them to reveal a new IP for the Xbox
At least one.
at E3. It's scary. It's so scary to reveal a new IP because you have no idea how we're going to react. You could think you have one in the bag with Days Gone, and then we're like, oh, really though? Or you could have one that we poop our pants for, like Sea of Thieves. Well, actually, Sea of Thieves was 2 years ago, the reveal. It was kind of like, it was like...
We were all about it.
They were around the island, and
Yeah.
you saw the etching. We're kind of all about it, but we're like, what is
I
the
feel
game
like
exactly?
we've been all about Sea of Thieves, and then I hear like everyone else isn't, and I'm like, what? Sea of Thieves looks delightful.
I think
It does.
the potential reaction to a new Microsoft IP though is it's in a more favorable spot than it's ever been because I think especially now you could feel it. You can feel the burnout from Gears and Forza and Halo. Like I just don't see the clamor for those specific extremely Microsoft linked franchises anymore.
Yeah.
People say that they want something new and like so you're gonna get this announcement. I think for the first time in maybe a while, you're not gonna get people saying, "Oh, but I wish this was Master Chief," or "Oh, I wish this was Marcus Phoenix." And in a way, does that potentially make it more favorable than it is? Like, are we more likely to receive it well just because we're so desperate for something new?
Absolutely. But I think that's the position this game will be in. And
Yeah.
here's the weird thing. Here's what another just kind of like, gleaning off what's been said. This isn't like, hey, the new IP is going to be like this. The way Phil Spencer talks about what Sony has, he talks about Horizon. He says, hey, that's a great single-player game. It's cool they can do that.
Right.
I get no impression that their new game is going to be a single-player game. The direction they go in, the way they talk about what Sony does with their games, I don't see that happening. I really think this will be a multiplayer game. It might be a games as a service type of game. I think it's going to be a multiplayer game, whatever they show.
It absolutely is.
Oh, okay.
I would bet money on this. And in a way, I think like it has me nervous because not only do you have to make a compelling game, but you have to make the services not effed. But I think that is actually the right direction to go because it creates this own space for them. You're not going against other first party titles from other companies, and that's good. It makes this new thing feel distinct. But and you're already seeing this trend with the games that they have been releasing. I mean, every major first party Microsoft game has had some sort of card system. It feels like, right? And so
last year anyway, yeah.
Right.
Last year was the year of the card systems.
Gears totally had cards.
Yeah, and so it already feels like a direction that they're focusing on, that
Yeah.
they're primed to expand. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Halo Wars 2 was months away, and that had cards.
Right.
I can't say we're past it. You're right. We're still in the thick of the cards.
But it's like, if new IP, are we getting anything other than a CG trailer? Are we actually going to see that game?
Yes.
And I think we have to,
I think we
because
have to,
if
because
I
they
come out
wanna
of that
show off
press
the
conference with
hardware.
only CG trailer, my mind is going to go immediately to Scalebound. It's like,
immediately
okay,
Scalebound,
well,
immediately to Phantom Dust.
the last time. But these Phantom Dust had kind of like a name behind it, where Scalebound just had the developers. Scalebound was a brand new IP. This was we're going to be there might be a Scalebound 2, Scalebound 3, We might make a Scalebound TV series. I don't know. We're Microsoft. We're crazy. We're going to blow this thing up. Never mind, it's gone. It's like,
so you're saying that the only way that this can work is if we're presented like a full
I think you can do
picture.
CG trailer and gameplay.
I think they're going to show gameplay regardless because they want to show off the Scorpio.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a twofold thing.
Right.
My question is it going to feel like a Gears or a Halo, or is it going to feel more like
Sunset
something-
Overdrive or something?
Or yeah, like a Sunset Overdrive or a Scalebound. Like, are they going to go serious, gritty sci-fi shooter Microsoft, or are they going to go like weird, like zany Microsoft Sunset
I think you have to look
Overdrive?
at. I think you have to look at trends. I think you have to look at Destiny, and you got to look at Overwatch. I
Overwatch,
think you
yeah, I
have
was
to
gonna
say
say.
Microsoft would be looking at that kind of
Lawbreakers.
thing. Yeah. I think that's those are the trends they would probably be watching. And the Division you could toss in there. I think you could toss in those types of games. I don't think it'll be deadly serious. I think we'll see jokes in this demonstration.
Yeah.
We're
Because it's
going
weird.
into wild.
No,
guesses
it's weird,
territory
but
here,
it's
yeah.
like no, but I'm just thinking like strategically, if you are announcing a new IP and you're Microsoft and you're in
Yeah.
this position and you want to not piss off your constituents or whatever, and
Yeah, we all voted. Yes,
but you
constituents.
also you don't want to piss off the people who already support you, but you also want to draw in new people because you have to, because you're not winning the race currently. And like, I don't know what game you show, because like another Gears not gonna get me to buy a Xbox Scorpio. Showing another Halo, I'm not buying a Scorpio.
Because
You know?
the thing, it's funny you bring up Overwatch. Think about Overwatch. I still have not played a minute of that game. I've never played Overwatch ever.
You've never played Overwatch?
Ever in my life for any console.
Don't
Yeah.
start.
And I love that game.
Yes.
I love those characters. I'm endeared to that world.
Yeah.
And I have no stakes in it. It means nothing to me. You know, like on a personal level, just to me. You know, to my gaming experience, to me sitting down and looking at all the games available and what am I going to play. And so if it can't do that, you know, if they try to go for the broad shooter appeal, the hero shooter, or you know, something grand in multiplayer, that's maybe shaking things up. Like if I'm not gonna buy into that world, regardless of whether I'm actually gonna play it or not.
But I think the hero shooter space is dangerously oversaturated right now too.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
But
Especially with Lawbreakers coming out and like
Yep.
how Battleborn like folded.
Paragon.
Yeah.
it really actually doesn't seem all that complicated to me though, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, Overwatch, a lot of its success is built on the Blizzard name," and while that's definitely a factor, just think about how that game revealed itself.
Yes.
Really good trailers. Yeah.
Right. It established a world, it established a storyline, it established characters. Think about any other hero shooter that has tried to compete in that same space, and think about that CD trailer. It's just, you know, quote
Licensed
unquote
music.
cool dudes shooting each other.
Uh-huh.
There's no sense of
licensed music.
place. There's nothing to ground like anchor you in this world. That's really all you have to do.
Yeah.
Tell us that there's a point to this.
Right. I honestly think that they need more than one new IP.
I don't think they have more than one.
They might not, but they need them.
They get a lot of fun moments of their E3 presentations, just showing off indies. What We Happy Few was last year. Then they actually showed that for a long time, so they could do things like that. But I think in terms of like huge new games from Microsoft Game Studios, I think they're just called Microsoft Studios now. I think there's one, and I think it's this one. I guess, you know, there's no real heavy rumors about whatever this thing is yet still. We're just guessing, and we're just, you know, you got to try to watch and see what Microsoft's up to. I think there's no reason not to copy what Blizzard did. There's no reason not to do Overwatch. There's no reason not to do CG trailer, gameplay, and it's also playable this week. Tweet about it, please.
Yeah.
But then do you just run the risk of being like, oh well, now they're just copying Overwatch? I mean,
'Cause
is
Microsoft-
that
completely different? There's still lots of room for it to be completely different from
Sure.
Overwatch.
Microsoft can't be a Me Too thing this year. They can't, I think.
I think Me Too is smart. I think following something that works, a model that works, is the smart thing to do at this point.
It is, but you have to do it in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, hey, we got it. We can do Overwatch. It's
Yeah.
got to be like, you liked that, check this out, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatch killing other dudes, just CPU units with your friends. It's funny. There's a critter. There's a critter for sure. A hairy critter. You know, the thing where you're designing the cosplays as you're designing your characters. You're designing the community. You already know what kind of characters people will react to. I kind of think that's how Battleborn was made. This idea of like, people are going to love this little
Right,
penguin.
but they were so incorrect.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to design a game that way. Just like, oh, people are going to love this on Twitch. It's like, will they? You don't know, and you never know.
You really
until it's
don't,
out.
yeah.
And that's, as we started this discussion about the Microsoft press conference, I think part of why it will be one of the most interesting ones is the reveals, is the stakes. And
High stakes, yeah.
they're confident. Microsoft is confident coming to this thing that we're going to be impressed. And so,
Which is either warranted or foolhardy.
yeah. But to me, that confidence means it'll at least be different. That confidence means we're confident this year because I can't tell you yet, but it's something.
Because we've got Avenged Sevenfold. They had an orchestra, but we've got a rock band.
Hey,
C3,
name
baby.
one Avenged Sevenfold song. Name one. I can't do it right now.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're a band.
they are a band for sure.
Beast and the Harlot?
Nice.
Thank you, Ben.
That sounds right.
And the beast and
that
the
real?
I think so.
That's not Metallica?
No, the Bat Country is another one.
Dude,
Bat Country.
Thank you,
I've-
Ben.
Is that a Hunter S. Thompson reference?
Yeah, I've listened to some Avenged Sevenfold.
Cool.
I
Here's the
will
thing.
now, I will now receive an abundance of internet hate.
No, I think it's a
And
great
support.
I think it's a great name for a band. Avenged Sevenfold is actually a great name for a band.
Why do you think that is a great name for a band?
just this concept
Yeah.
of multiplying your revenge 7 times.
And it shall be avenged sevenfold
Yeah,
upon thy hide.
that's good.
Yeah.
And they like video games. What if they listen to this podcast and they're just like, oh man,
Hi, Avenged Sevenfold.
hi Avenged Sevenfold.
I didn't bring
You
them
gonna be
up
at
to
the
like
Microsoft
troll
press
them.
conference?
Avenged Sevenfold is a really tricky band because they've done some stuff that I've really liked.
Mm-hmm.
They've done some stuff that I've really hated. And they're not... The people that don't like them really aggressively don't like them. So even mentioning their name gets you into a bunch of conversations that you do not
we
want
don't
to
wanna
be in.
In a 2+ hour Easy Allies podcast, how much are we going to talk about Avenged Sevenfold? I just want to know before we get into the discussion.
At least
No,
another
that's it.
20
just
minutes.
like-
That was
To
it.
prep.
We're done.
I'm always
Okay,
like,
are we finished?
I'm,
Okay.
I'm scared they're fans. The All
That
American
was
Rejects are
that was
fans.
real annoying.
Really?
The
That
whole
was
band.
real.
Well, 4 of the 5 guys are fans of this
I
podcast.
want out
Really?
of here.
I'm just asking. I wasn't shutting anybody down.
I don't know.
I was just trying to get the information.
That was
It's
a shutdown.
12:30
That
in
was
the
a-
morning.
That was
Yeah.
an inadvertent
I believe
shutdown.
anything you say.
Here's the thing: is I love bits. If a person asks you the second really, you have to stop a bit. That's like it's a rule
a rule?
of bits. Yeah, a rule of bits is you cannot continue. A second really is like you're just being dishonest at this
I
point.
wish
That
that,
was the Brandon
everyone
Jones
in
album.
middle school had known that.
The second really
I was real gullible, and they took advantage of that for
it's
years.
not right.
No.
How can you look at a person who says really twice and say yes?
I just want to believe in a beautiful world, you know?
Yeah, where the All American Rejects are fans of Easy Allies.
Yeah.
Maybe they are. We don't
That's
know
a
that
band,
they're not.
right?
Yeah. Swing, swing, swing from the setup. Okay, now they're not fans. So let's do a little love and respect. Love and respect. It is 12:30. We are past the 2-hour mark. I'm
Gotta
picking.
cut a D&D tonight.
I'm picking one. I'm picking one. Love and respect.
Card might run out at any moment.
Yeah, we're still recording, yeah.
Okay, and this one's. You know what?
Do a game.
Oh, jeez.
Ah, gee willikers.
Gosh, Kyle, you're such a good moderator.
Jones, I'm not gonna let you have that because that was insincere.
No,
man.
I complimented you like almost immediately.
Oh,
So
what
I
a-
did get
why
that
would
out of
you
the
do
way.
that to me.
Heaven help me for the way I am.
Heaven help me for the way I am. Okay. This is kind of fun. This is a spicy one. We're feeling, it might be 12:30. We might be feeling it.
We're
Spicy.
into it.
Yeah.
We're feeling jazzed.
Okay. So this is spicy. No, I want to pick a fun one. I'm
Oh.
Do
sorry.
the spicy
jeez.
one and then the fun one.
I was
Just do it.
Okay.
Quick.
picking up the spicy
Fast
noodles. I
mode.
was ready to sink my teeth into it.
All right.
Do
Here we
both.
go. Okay, we're doing both.
Spicy and fun.
We're doing both. Hey, allies, I want to go on a bit of a rant after the announcement of Red Dead Redemption 2 delay. I'm not mad that the game is pushed to spring 2018. I'm actually mad about how people are completely writing off all other games and declaring Zelda Breath of the Wild as GOTY. I think it is very ignorant and disrespectful to assume that no other game is up to par with Breath of the Wild when the year is not even over. For all we know, there are a lot of games that were unannounced that can be released this year. For example, look at Fallout 4 after its official reveal. The game was released 5 months later. E3 is on the horizon. For all we know, Sony may announce Shenmue 3, Last of Us 2, and God of War for this holiday season.
Bloodborne 2.
Bloodborne 2. EA may have something up their sleeve which may or may not include rebooting Dead Space and Dragon Age. Oh, hey. It wouldn't even surprise me if Sea of Thieves throws a curveball to the GOTY discussion. I just wanted to say that this is inappropriate to jump the gun and declare something as GOTY in the middle of the spring. Love and respect, Otori Kiyoya.
Two responses to this.
Yeah.
First, I get it and I appreciate it. It is annoying when it's like, hey, there's a bunch of stuff. Let's consider the entire year.
Yeah.
Let's just because we really loved this one game doesn't mean we couldn't also really love all of these other things.
Yeah.
At the same time, on the flip side of that, people can only evaluate what they have. I don't have the rest of the games that are coming out in 2016. I only have the games that came out so far.
Right.
And I can only talk about and compare the games that I have right now. It's not necessarily dismissing what's to come, but there's nothing tangible to hold on to yet. And so people talking and enjoying a game that they love, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not necessarily ignorant.
Yeah, Zelda can be the GOTY so far, and then
Yeah.
Bloodborne 2 will come out and blow it out of the sky. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
think that's it. Yeah, it's the language. I think saying like, well, Zelda appears to be the front runner now, as opposed to like, well, lock it in, go home.
Yeah.
Because I have seen tweets like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
seen
Right,
people
and
reach
that
out
is-
and be
it's
like,
just
well,
about language.
I actually agree that is annoying. It's
Yes,
annoying to be
I
like,
agree with that too.
Well, this series is over. The Cavs have it. And it's like, well, come on, talk about it.
Right.
Is that
and
a
they- and they
sports
don't.
thing? What the hell was that?
Yeah, Cavaliers lost. I wonder if they lost tonight. We don't even know at this point. Can't
we
check
should
my
always
phone,
be
battery's
prepared
dead.
for a better game. We should always
Yeah.
hope for better games.
Is that
Right.
basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Zelda Breath of the Wild is irregularly good. It is better than any game I played last year. And so that's why it's almost fair to say this is a really good game. This is potentially game of
It
the
is
year
a
this early.
strong contender for GOTY, and I would love something to unseat it.
Yeah.
I would love it. Mm-hmm. But right now,
Because that means,
nothing
boy,
happens.
is that game good? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if something else comes out that topples GOTY away from Zelda in my eyes, thank you. My God, this year.
Yeah.
So good.
So yeah, I totally agree that the attitude can be a little too much, but on the other side, it's an unusual game. It's an unusual, beautiful game, Breath of the Wild. There aren't a lot of like it. It's not like we're just phoning that in. It's not like the game didn't earn the praise that it has. It's an incredible game, and everybody knows it has flaws. And if you dislike it, you're not weird. But that game's incredible. That's a good game.
I love it.
Yeah. Honestly,
I was surprised I was the most positive in our story spoiler cast. I was like the most positive on that game.
yeah. Well,
I love
story wise,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's nothing about it bothers me.
So maybe if at some point, maybe if Microsoft's new IP is basically that game but with a good story, they could win GOTY. Just like
What's the fun one?
we've made an open air game. It stars this little boy
Or girl.
or a girl. You can
Got
choose.
my vote.
You can choose in our game,
Got my vote.
and we have an actually interesting story to tell.
Ah. But it's still not told super obtrusively. Doesn't interfere with the gameplay.
We now present Smelda. Okay, so hello, allies. Last week, my Horizon.
Really good sense of smell.
Sure. Ben, you know how you talk about topic sentences?
Sniff of the wild.
Yeah.
About how when you're going through a lot of comments and a lot of emails, you
Yes.
love a good first sentence.
Yep.
Get ready.
The first impressions matter.
Hello,
Smell
allies.
peripheral.
Last week, my horizon was widened when I tried the story mode in FIFA.
Whoa.
That is good. That is
Yep,
good.
that's good. You got me. I'm hooked. I
Hey,
haven't
Nabokov,
I
take us there.
haven't bought and played a sports game in a decade. It was a pretty decent narrative about a young rookie debuting in the English Premier League. You may remember the actor that plays him from the EA press conference at E3 last year. I remember him well. More than just surprised me with above-average writing, it filled my head with the possibilities of story modes in future sports games. I know most of the allies typically don't play sports games apart from Huber. Could a good story mode change that? What would a story mode need for you to give it a shot? Love and respect from Thomas, aka Babington.
This is absolutely torturous. Okay, so there is one genre I resign myself to not playing.
Yeah.
It's sports games.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I will play anything else.
Yeah.
And I get this sense, and my deepest fears are confirmed by this love and respect, where he's saying, hey, it's got a good story. Like, the way people talk about FIFA, I feel like I'm constantly missing out.
Yeah.
There's something there that's worth seeing, and that kills me. Just let me have just this one genre that I don't need to pay any attention to ever. Just let me do that with this. It's just a plea.
Yeah.
There's no more room.
Can I tell you though? I hear that. I hear FIFA has good writing. There's still no way I would play it
Not a chance.
Ah.
because of the game. Because of a normal soccer game. Is
I don't
still
want to
the-
play a soccer game.
the gameplay of the game.
Yeah.
And so
Even if it's the best soccer game ever made, it's just not my interest.
here's what it would take for me, Ben. And I'll go to GameStop. I'll pick up dumb games that hopefully will become Dumb Game Monday games, and I'll play
Yeah.
through them. One of the games I picked up was Blitz the League. Mm-hmm. That's what it would take. It takes this kind of alt-universe version of the sport. And so I could play a soccer game that isn't FIFA, that isn't this normal real-world soccer, maybe an exaggerated version of it. And then if that has a story, absolutely I could be in on that.
But what if the issue is you just need to give it a chance? What if you think that you can't like this thing, but if FIFA presents it well enough, suddenly you are into normal ass soccer.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You don't know. You don't know. You haven't experienced this story.
But
No, look at that.
Haven't all of us played soccer video games before?
I don't buy that because there's
I
a
played
difference.
a FIFA.
Yeah, there's a difference between playing a FIFA for a little bit
Yeah.
and
Getting into
digging
a
it in
FIFA.
and being like, okay, FIFA, I open myself to you. That's different.
What I think would be hilarious in a FIFA game
Yeah.
is like the story is this young up and comer about to play his first FIFA game. You're about to play your first match. Car accident. The story mode of the game, you never once play soccer. It's just like about his family life and like his day job and like trying to reconcile with his wife and like going through physical therapy. And it's like a 20-hour campaign and it's harrowing.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he plays. He finally gets to play like just like an exhibition match.
Oh, we recover.
He recovers.
Okay.
And at the very end, you play one game of soccer in this entire game, this entire FIFA game, and there are tears in his eyes.
Cool.
And it's this huge thing for him. That would be really interesting.
You ever seen Ladybugs?
No.
Yeah, Jonathan Brandis and
Is that the
Rodney
name?
Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd play a
He's
Ladybugs
on the
game.
female soccer team.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Why do I remember so many details about that film?
It was a cool movie. It's about this guy he wants to sneak on into the girls' soccer team, so he pretends he's a woman, and like that's like he plays the whole league with them.
Well, no,
The
it's
whole
about a
season.
coach who wants to win the season, and so he tricks his son or friend or something like to be on the team.
Yeah.
Who's a good player.
That's
a
fun.
man-
I
I'll
recall
make him
Jonathan
win.
Brandis is not a huge fan of having to do that,
What?
but he's just like,
Oh, the actor.
yeah.
Sorry, the
no,
character.
the character is
Yeah,
like,
yeah, not
oh,
the
geez,
actor.
I'm not.
Yeah, so like if there's like some
Couldn't tell you how
90s
excited
hijinks in a
Brandis was.
sports game, I'm in for that. A little
Yeah.
Giants-esque.
You've got to go one way or the other. Like hilarious or
Yeah.
really sad.
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
The Big Green.
The
Rookie,
big green.
rookie of
League
the
of Their
year.
Own?
League of Their Own is not a 90s.
Airbud?
Airbud fits.
If I was a
Airbud?
dog,
Yeah.
then I would play NBA Live.
the like movie poster VHS cover of The Big Green is so good.
So here's what I
Whoa.
just think of the kid with red hair. That's all I can
From
imagine.
Sandlot,
he's
right?
like he's like in the goal and he's got that face.
Yeah.
It's like I want to watch that movie.
These are
yeah.
cool movies. Yeah, and like I've said, like most of my comedy comes from like that 90s kids sports movies.
If you had a Sandlot video game,
think that's
day
a good
one,
place.
day
Yeah.
one buy.
Oh yeah, I would play
No
that.
question.
Just like the word butt munch, I feel like comes from movies like that.
Butt munchers.
It's not
Butt
inappropriate
munch?
to say Sandlot is a timeless classic.
Sandlot's a
That you
timeless
could-
classic.
I'll give you Sandlot. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Timeless classic.
right. I wouldn't.
I haven't seen it in a
You know
while.
what else is
Karen
heavyweights.
Allen, Dennis Leary,
Heavyweights.
James Earl
Anyways,
Jones.
yeah.
Come on. Good movie.
Jones, what would it take for you to play a sports game? What kind of story would it take?
I like everything that I hear. I will not play a sports game, no matter how good the story is, if I don't like the sport. If it's basketball, it's like I just don't.
So what if it's weird basketball though? Like what if what if it's the same rules,
Yeah.
but it's like a
If it was like post-apocalyptic, if it
Yeah.
was the basketball from Escape from L.A. where he had to make so many shots, or literally dudes with machine guns on the outside of the court would gun him down where he was standing, where they literally like mop the blood off of the court like every
Then you're
time. Then I'm in.
yeah. To me, I think it needs a
Because
sort
I like
of
extreme
fantasy
sports.
element
I like
more.
SSX.
Yeah.
I like Tony
Yeah.
Hawk. I like So yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of like, and you don't necessarily have to throw logic out the window if it's like a mode in the game.
Pause. Pause because of what Ben just whispered. We're talking about EA, what EA could dig out of the
What
graves.
did
Yeah.
you say?
SSX.
Oh, I'll preach that for years. I thought that was gonna be boring. I thought that was gonna
That's
be like,
not
shut
boring.
Jones, shut up with that.
Let's talk about that for just 10 seconds.
Every conference, every E3, every day
Yeah.
of the week of every year, I want a new SSX game. Always.
yes.
But they
Was
keep
the last game
screwing up
successful?
snowboard
No.
games.
Did I have
Yeah.
issues with it? Yes. Do I want another one? Yes.
They got to go back to what worked.
I think that's how the world
yeah.
feels.
Go back to what worked. Go,
Go back
wild.
to what worked.
It's tricky.
Tricky.
It's tricky. Yeah, please just do that.
All they have to do is that line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will tweet.
Yes.
You'll have our tweets.
Yes.
If they do a Need for Speed, because the last one was just called SSX.
Yeah.
So if they do a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, where this one's called SSX Tricky, and they just bring it back.
Yeah.
Do a remake of Tricky
Oh my goodness.
and focus on crazy
Please
tricky
just
stuff.
make that game.
Like that one, I wouldn't mind them talking a little first when they were like, "We have a beloved franchise.
Yes.
we were trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to bring it back, but honestly, it was just a little tricky." And then the lights,
You know what I totally forgot about was Criterion's game. Their sports game.
Sportsa.
I didn't forget about it, but I didn't know what to say.
Yeah. Whatever. Keep your eyes out for it. It'll probably happen. We'll probably see it at this year's E3. Okay, that was Love and Respect. It is now time for bets. Last week's bet was about Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, which released last Friday, May 19th. Now, the game has two protagonists, Alm and Celica. What we're about to do right now is we're going to DeviantArt.com.
Do we want to do next week's bet first? Or don't we do this week's bet first?
Yeah, I guess I got this.
And
out
then
of
last
order.
week's, and then that rolls into the closing, right?
Yeah. Okay, Jones.
We can do it this way.
depressed.
We're just gonna announce the You're gonna announce the winner, and it's gonna be really exciting. And then we're gonna do a whole other bet segment, and then we're gonna go back to that person.
It's so weird. We've done both. We've
to
definitely
close
done
the show
both
out.
before.
We used to do it
yeah.
this way.
We used to do it this way, and this way is
but
wrong.
then you changed it.
Kyle,
yeah.
you're an
Yeah.
excellent moderator. I don't want to tell you how to do your job.
No, Jones, I appreciate.
Sounds like an insult every time, Jones.
He is. He's insulting me. Jones is co-host. Okay, so next week's bet: Ultra Street Fighter 2: The Final Challengers releases this Friday, May 26th. Where will it be on Amazon.com's video games bestsellers list at this point next week? And this is one where I realize this isn't like it's not. We don't get a cool video at the end of the video. I was just at the end of this podcast. You know, it's not one of those.
Yeah.
I was genuinely interested about this one, and currently it's at 34, which is way higher than I thought it'd be.
Way harder than I thought.
I thought this was a little dirt game that nobody wanted, but apparently this is going to do okay. It's at 34. Where's it going to be at this point next week, Jones?
I'm going ridiculously high. 18.
Okay.
Doing
Ben.
24.
Ooh. I'm skating in the middle there. 19.
My bet is ridiculously higher than Jones's. I think it's going to be at number 9.
That's a 9?
That's a 9.
Turn it like this? No, the other way. Now it's a 2.
I feel like
Ooh,
the
that is a
worst
2.
better.
Yeah. What if I changed it? And then, that's not the last bet. Don by Law has been enacted.
Down by
Yes.
law.
And Don's bet is 7.
Whoa, Donnie.
Oh, see, this is the power of Don. You
That
have
is the
that.
power of
You
Don.
got that high bet
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bet.
let me lock that in. Power Don. He drew a spade on the back. He made it
got
into a
the-
card and then drew a spade. How cool is
Nice.
that?
You're the we got both ends of this.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not a great position to be in. So now let us talk about last week's bet. Let's go in the correct chronology. Fire Emblem. Yeah, we got our two. We're going to DeviantArt.com to do a search for Alm and Celica without quotation marks. Jones, would
Okay.
you do that for us now, please?
Yeah, spell that.
The word for it,
ALM
that this is.
space AND space CELICA. Enter.
Like the car.
This point last week, we had 92 results for Alm and Celica.
Okay.
Brad bet that at this point this week, we'd be at 185. Hubert bet that we'd be at 168. Bloodworth bet that we'd be at 101. Jones, I bet we'd be at 400. Don bet that we'd be at 141. And the actual number of results for a search for Alm and Celica on DeviantArt.com is currently
121.
that is a win for Don.
Oh!
Wait, let's see. That means Blood is 20 off and Don is 20 off, right?
What did they both say?
101 and 141.
Yeah, 121.
That's a
Look
tie.
at that.
That's a tie. But well, that's both our team, right?
Wait, 21 off. It's 121?
121.
Yeah, they're both
They are
20 off.
equidistant with it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
But they're both on purple platypi, right?
Not only that, that's 2 points for Purple Platypi. Oh,
Why?
if you tie, you share
You're
the point.
totally right.
Yeah.
Oh!
If you tie, you share the point. Not yet, not yet, not yet. That's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. Okay, so yeah, that brings Purple Platypi to 6. Red Eagles 15.
It's like neither was the platypi sound, but I think if you put them
Together.
together,
Yeah.
you have it.
We planned it.
It's like when I was making the noises for Star Wars. I wanted to make the sound of a lightsaber. So I grabbed a fan, I grabbed some tissue paper, I grabbed a can of paint, I grabbed a little remote control. What am I doing?
And I whacked a high tension wire
Yeah.
from a power line.
That's what it made me think of, is you just combine the noises, it becomes something cool.
That's what sound design's all about, baby.
Yeah, it's cool. Star Wars is cool. So, Ben and Ian, we'll just have you split the responsibilities. One of you will get to tell everyone what your Twitter handle is. One of you will get the final word on anything you've disagreed with or simply want to reiterate that you've heard throughout this entire podcast. One of you will get to promote any Easy Allies video you would like to promote, and one of you will get to sign off with your trademark sign-off. And because we've gone so long, we'll just say patreon.com/EasyAllies is a cool website to go to.
All right, how are we doing this?
I have a video I'd like to promote.
All right, I would like the final word.
Okay.
And then who gets sign-off, who gets Twitter?
You want your Twitter?
I don't care about that, but I'll take it if you want
Okay,
the
I
sign
can
off.
sign off.
Okay.
So you go Twitter. What is it? Twitter video
Yep,
thing?
we'll do that. Final word.
Okay.
Sign off. Yep.
All right. I'm Ben Moore. My Twitter handle is @BenMoore035.
The video I would like to promote, we haven't shot yet. Huber and I tomorrow are shooting an Alien Covenant spoiler mode. It'll go up probably, pretty shortly thereafter. If you're watching this on Friday, it's already up.
Most people watch this on Saturday and Sunday.
Then it's up. Watch the Alien Covenant spoiler mode.
It's weird because our most loyal fan base is there on that first day, but then our other loyal fan base is the consistent loyal fan base appears on the weekend. I don't know which audience to really focus the show on.
Both.
Yeah, they're all great.
You're all great.
You just got to make this couch happy, all right?
Yeah, okay.
Whenever
All right,
you
Jones.
are in time, and whichever fan base you're a member of,
Yeah.
do check out the Alien Covenant spoiler mode that Huber and I will film or have filmed and enjoy it as we crap all over that movie.
No, treat it right. Somebody worked hard on that.
Oh, we'll have plenty of positive things to say. Mm-hmm. But they didn't learn their lesson
So this is that's worth promoting. This is the first spoiler mode about a movie.
about a movie.
So do not watch
Reaction
that unless
shots-
you've seen the whole movie.
Reaction Shots is spreading its wings, trying to be a little less complaint-worthy.
Ooh, complaint worthy. I thought people really like reaction shots.
Some do. Yeah.
Spread
I like
my
it.
wings and fly away. I just realized we didn't talk about goals.
believe I
Ian, how'd you do on your
fly.
goal this week?
I saw part of his forehead. I was using Ben to block him.
Yeah,
And then
you saw
I gave
Jones.
up. I
You
saw
Jones.
Oh yeah, and then I just made the choice.
Yeah. Ben, how'd you do on your goal this week?
I did 2 different dances, both of them bad.
I saw a podcast halftime dance. What was the other one?
When we were all dancing,
We
I
were all
counted that
dancing?
as well. Yeah, we were all doing the laser sounds.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Ah,
That was a good
yeah.
dance. I like that.
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah, again, if you were a listener,
That feels like 100 hours ago.
That does seem
Ben
like
got
yesterday.
up out of his seat. He was flipping around.
He did a flip.
Did a flip. Did a
I
flip.
think you touched the ceiling at one point.
Yeah, I
It
did.
looked like
That
you
was crazy.
hurt your foot. on
Full
the
flip.
ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No, I'm gonna have to go.
It's
to
like
the
that
hospital for
Aragorn
this.
scene when he yelled because he really broke his foot when he kicked the helmet.
And we used the take because
We
it was
used
so
the take
good.
'cause
We
it
had
was
to use
so
the take.
natural.
We had to use that take.
That was like us in this podcast.
We had to use the take.
We had to use it.
Jones, how'd you do on your goal this week?
I did well. I just wanted to get one in there, but I got a couple in.
Always reiterate what your goal was.
My goal was to compliment you on your moderation skills.
Yeah, I think the first one was genuine, and then you really lost it. You
Well, I
lost
knew
your
I had a
patience.
genuine and went into there, and
Yeah.
so I had some allowances for.
I did miserably with my goal this week of
You got him.
music lyrics.
I snuck in some
3
lyrics
times.
too.
One
Yeah.
of them you just repeated what I said, so
That's-
I didn't
that's what I
count
did.
that as highly as the other ones.
That's
but
what I
you-
did all 3 times.
I noticed a concerned effort to make it happen. So
One time,
A concerned effort?
concerted. I
Yes.
think was the word I was looking
One
for.
time you repeated a lyric I said, but sang it in a completely different melody than the actual song.
Which one is that? I love it. That one?
Heaven help me for the way I am.
I don't know what that is.
It's
What?
from Criminal by Fiona Apple.
Oh wow.
I sang the Fiona Apple song?
No, you did not.
We're dropping
You
song
sang
lyrics
it.
on this podcast all the time.
I said
Oh,
it,
you
and
said
then
something
you
that
repeated
sounded lyrical, and
it.
then I
Yeah,
repeated
so then
that.
you sang it
Yeah. But I didn't
because
even know.
Fiona's natural songwriting, lyricism,
Yeah.
talent shone through, and you knew it had to be sung.
Is Fiona Apple the uncomfortable, sweaty music video? Is that her?
Criminal definitely has. She's glistening.
Okay,
Fiona Apple is a genius,
sure.
and I will thank you to not
Associate her
otherwise.
simply with one music video.
associate
where
her
she's,
simply
like-
with glistening,
glistening.
sweaty.
Final word, Ben.
90s.
Shut her down. Shut Fiona
Yeah, what's
outta
Apple
here.
down.
What's the final word, Ben?
Ben likes Fiona Apple.
I love Fiona Apple. The final word is, I want to believe in Destiny 2, and I think that's a good place to be.
Good night and good game.
I am enjoying these microtransactions.